In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh!
Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. This is episode 1188.
Going live.
It's two of the same numbers first, and then two of the same numbers last.
Ooh.
1188. This is sure to be a doozy. Get ready for it. Like the stream. Send us your brave browser bats.
We're just
Do all that stuff that we always ask you to do.
300 episodes away from the white supremacist episode.
I don't even want to talk about that.
We're gonna have to down them the entire episode to show that we're not in solidarity with them.
I don't think I need to do anything to show I'm not in solidarity with them. Everyone, like the stream. We're gonna go through most of the Trump town hall today. The one that happened last night. It was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
I haven't watched any of it.
You haven't seen any of the clips or anything?
Not a second of it. I don't even know what color tie Trump was wearing. I would assume red.
I can't remember. No, sometimes they switch it up. It doesn't always, like, the tie color doesn't always fall within party lines. But sometimes it does. We'll see. I can't remember the tie color, honestly.
Well, I've assumed red, so we'll see if my assumption is correct.
It could be. It could be. And we'll get into it in just a moment here. Just from a reminder, we're trying to reach this weekly dono goal, and we're, 15%? 15.5%?
Yeah. A lot of people think that 15.5% is impossible to beat. They think we won't make the goal, but I think the people watching tonight will prove them wrong. I think we'll hit 50% by the end of the night.
Yeah. Yes.
I could be wrong. It would be the first time ever. Alex just learned about a new hate symbol. What is it?
I don't want to talk about it, like, especially not in the first 10 minutes of the stream. I don't want to talk about hate symbols. Why want to get monetized? Let's move into the news segment and start watching this stuff. Here we go.
He called me sir. It got me so human angry.
People are discriminating against wolves. Wow.
They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
And you better well learn to love it.
Now, there's a lot of people pointing out that Dylan Burns, former guest of Drunken Peasants.
Yeah, I was going to ignore this, but yes, go ahead.
But the thing with did the screen go dead?
I'll fix it.
Is that for everybody or
no?
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, look at that. We're back. So, yeah, the live streaming of these things tends to get hit a lot.
And on also that's Twitch, not YouTube.
Yeah, but we've dealt with that before too during live streams many times ago, many times. And it's the worst. But afterwards, after the fact, it's a lot more lenient. So
yeah,
I think we should be safe today.
The center, he very well could be re-elected president of the United States. That we should not just assume that there's no way we would do this again as a country, right? There is very much a way when I look at
I'll skip to the part where they take the stage.
Yeah, let's throw Trump on the floor.
Here it comes.
Trump's going to sit on that little ass white chair?
Yes. So do you recognize her?
Not at all.
She was on with Don Lemon. She was the one that Don Lemon made that like snide remark to right before he got fired.
Oh, wow. So she got a little upchucked.
Within a century to seek a return to the White House, and he is currently leading the Republican field while also facing multiple criminal investigations and an indictment. Just yesterday, he was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation.
Wow, what an intro.
Are off the table.
It's true.
We agreed to no conditions. We're here to get voters
agreed
the
to no
answers that
conditions.
they deserve. Our audience is made up of Republicans and undeclared voters.
So it's Republicans and undeclared voters. So there's no like self-admitted Democrats or leftists or anything.
Look at that kid about, was it 7 or 8 in, second row back. He's got the biggest smile after she said sexual assault. He is like digging it. He's like, yeah.
He's like my hero.
Yeah.
Plan to take part in New Hampshire's Republican primary. They'll get the chance to question the former president directly. These voters and the issues that they care about the most will help decide if former President Trump will get a second chance to take on President Joe Biden. Please welcome the frontrunner for the Republican nomination, former President
Why does
Donald
this feel
Trump.
like an episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Who wants to vote in a billionaire? Again.
Thank you for being here tonight. We got quite a crowd.
Thank you.
President Trump,
A lot of these guys look like they're ready
to.
to stand by and stand back.
Yeah.
Tonight, we got a great crowd here in New Hampshire, a lot of voters with a lot of questions about what your 2024 term would look like, what another Trump term would look like. We'll get to the voters shortly, but your polls show that you are dominating the Republican race right now, but you are also under active federal investigation for trying to overturn
Is
the
he going to say witch hunt right off the bat?
2020 election results.
Oh, by the way, you were correct on the tie color.
Your first term ended with a deadly riot at the Capitol, and you still have not publicly acknowledged the 2020 election results. Why should Americans put you back in the White House?
Because we did fantastically. We got 12 million more votes than we had in, as you know, in 2016. I actually say we did far better in that
I don't think he ever actually answers any of the questions.
election. Got the most that anybody's ever gotten as a sitting president of the United States. I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. That was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country. All over the world, they looked at it. And they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the FBI, if you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr. President, back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5
Yeah, well, I also lost one on the liability of my sexual assault.
years.
So I'm used to losing. I lost the presidency that year, but I'm back again to get that W.
Publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 2020 election.
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So with all of that...
He says the stuffing ballot boxes thing all the time. I don't know what he's talking about.
I think it's a shame that what happened. I think it's a very sad thing for our country. I think it's a very
Stuffing
sad
it
thing,
with
frankly,
what?
for the world. Because if
fake ballots or what?
Yeah, they're saying they're fake ballots that were voted for Biden, is what he's suggesting.
Look at what's gone to our country. Our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad. You look at...
They've been real bad.
The taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation. It's just destroying our country.
Alex in the chat asked, why do people keep calling him Mr. President?
He's most definitely not a sweet boy.
He's not a sweet boy.
That being president is a lifetime title.
Yeah, they call you Mr. President well beyond your serving as president.
That's pretty true for literally any political office, like senator, even mayor. They still call Jesse Ventura Governor Ventura. He hasn't been governor since like the early 2000s.
And are we sure Trump's not a sweet boy? He's stayed in more suites than Zach and Cody.
We've really become, in many ways, a third world country. And it's very sad what's happened in this administration. And it's something that will turn around on day one. We were energy independent. Now energy is at a level that we've never had to pay before. Nobody can afford to continue to pay what's happening with energy. but we were energy independent. We were getting out of Afghanistan with strength.
I can't even
and with
afford to pay
dignity.
for my porn
And instead
anymore.
We got out. We looked like fools. Probably the most
And Mr.
embarrassing
President,
moment in the history of our country.
We have a lot of
I have
questions
to make
about
my own.
the economy and foreign
Good.
policy tonight, but what you just said there, Republican officials debunked those claims about fraudulent ballots. We want to give you a chance tonight.
Who?
Republican officials in Georgia.
This is his impersonation of an owl.
In every single state.
Who?
There is no, your own election officials, Mr.
Look,
President.
look,
So we wanted to give you a
People were
chance.
afraid to take on the issue, but we have a big problem in this country. We have
we wanted to give you a
elections.
chance to
We have
acknowledge the
elections
results.
that were horrible. If you look at what happened in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if you look at what happened in Detroit, Michigan, if you look at what happened in Atlanta, millions of votes. And
Millions.
all you have to do is take a look at government cameras. You'll see them. People going to 28 different voting booths to vote, to put in 7 ballots apiece.
But
I mean,
Mr.
and
President,
they're all
I
on
have
camera.
to stop you there.
Okay, then where are they? Can we see them?
I wonder if legally, if he admits that he was wrong, if he's more liable in these states that he like. I don't know. Don't they have an open investigation and/or case going against him in Georgia?
Is that voting? Oh, that was when he called and was like, I need you to find me some votes.
Yeah.
And they talk about that.
Because there is no evidence of that. Your own election officials testified to that and have said that Republicans in these states did this. In Georgia, there were multiple recounts, including a hand recount. We have questions about the claims that you're making tonight from voters on this topic. I want to bring in Scott Dustin from Concord. He works in insurance litigation. He's an undeclared voter. That's what they call independents here in New Hampshire, as you know. He did vote for you in 2020. Scott, what's your question for the president?
Hi, President
Scott.
Trump. Welcome back to New Hampshire.
This man, did he survive something?
It looks like it.
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Will I suspend, excuse me, what?
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your
Is
run
he a
for
little
president?
too late with his question? Didn't Trump?
Well,
just-
he means keep doing. Yeah, I mean, it is. He means, I guess, from this moment forward. From right now.
Yeah.
I love it. He never gives a straight answer to every question he gets, regardless of who it comes from. He never actually really answers it. He just kind of gish gallops around and talks way longer than it should take to answer the question.
I'm gonna guess how Trump answers.
No.
He's gonna say. Did you get some work done on your chin? Did you install a double wide?
Unless I see election fraud. If I see election fraud, I think I have an obligation to say it. And you know what we went through a short while ago has really put our country in a big problem. I hope to do that. I hope we're going to have very honest elections. We should have voter ID. We should have one-day elections. We should have paper ballots instead of these mail-in votes. But the answer is yes, and I hope that it's going to be very straight up, because if it's going to be straight up, we're going to win the election.
So you will suspend talk to his question about the 2020 election on the campaign trail?
I guess we're going to just win. We're at a point now, we're getting so close. Let's just win it again and straighten out our country.
One other question on this.
Nice round of applause. The women were not clapping there in the front row.
We talked about the 2020 election results in the past. You once suggested terminating the Constitution. Do you stand by those comments?
No. You were able to do certain things. I'm not talking about terminating the Constitution. I'm talking about cherishing the Constitution.
I love how he's always playing the invisible accordion.
The Constitution says that we're supposed to have legal and well-maintained and well-looked-at elections, and we didn't have that. I cherish our Constitution, but we have to live up to the Constitution. We weren't living up to the Constitution.
I was just saying there's no evidence of that election fraud. You did once tweet.
You're supposed to say that, but I'm glad you say that. But look,
That's
that was
the
a
truth, Mr.
horrible
President.
election. That was a horrible election, and unless somebody
It's a horrible election because he lost. Literally, that's the only reason he says
very
that.
stupid, and I know you very well. You're not stupid at all, but you perhaps are given an agenda, or you have an agenda. Look, we have to have honest elections in our country. We have open borders. You look at what's happening. I mean, we have elections. We have open borders. Look at what's happening on our southern border. Millions and millions of people are coming in. They're being released from prisons. They're being released from mental institutions. And we have millions of people pouring into our country.
He loves that word, millions.
Millions.
Sometimes he gets up to billions.
And now they're getting rid of
Like
Title
Dr. Evil?
42, which I put on, which kept people out that were sick. And
Mr.
had
President, we have a
problems.
lot of questions about immigration to get to tonight. Obviously, that's a big topic, especially given what's expected.
There's a lot of simping going on for her in the chat. I've seen
Our
it.
chat?
Yes.
They simp for everybody. They simped for Art Van Gogh.
She's an anchor lady. You have to have some level of attractiveness to get that usually, especially at this
to happen
level.
tomorrow. But I want to talk about
They don't
the
put
influence
ugly people on that often.
Right.
you have.
If you put an ugly person on, you know they had to do
Also,
something fucked up to get there.
She just got like her hair done, obviously. Like
your voters. It's very clear that you are very influential over them. You have a lot of impact. I've been to many of your rallies and seen it up close, which raised a lot of questions about the influence that we saw.
Congratulations, Alicia Jordana, on getting 10,000 subs today. The queen of IP2. They simp for her too around here, you know?
Yeah.
On
Up
January
until the
6th.
dog licked the inside of her mouth and everybody got mad. The dog was getting more action.
And your supporters when they attacked the Capitol. Do you have any regrets about your actions on January 6th?
Well, you know, January 6th was, again, we go back to it, but January 6th had to do with the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, and you don't see the pictures very often. A lot of the people here probably were there. January 6th, it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. That was prior to the walk down to the Capitol building. I don't think, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people. I've never spoken to a crowd as large as this. And that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there.
I wonder how they got that
They were
idea.
there
Right.
with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful
they did it with
day.
love in their heart.
Yeah.
And
It was a beautiful day.
Dude, how lit would it have been if they all marched into the Capitol and just had a huge orgy?
That's like Brave New World stuff.
That would have been so fucking much better than just having a couple of autistic guys dressed up like the Loyal Order of the Water Buffaloes clamoring around,
What I
stealing
was-
fucking art.
was asked to do. I wasn't
Podiums.
involved in it
Yeah.
very much. I was asked to come in. Would I make a speech? I made a speech. I said, walk peacefully and patriotically, you know, many different things. In fact, I brought a list of things. I don't want to bore the audience, but we can go sentence after sentence.
Does he
after
actually have a
sentence.
list in there and he's
Things I
not
said
pulling it
and
out?
things I
He
put
does.
out.
Nice.
One of the big problems was that Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy as I affectionately call her, Crazy Nancy Pelosi and the mayor
He's
of
working the room.
Washington were
I mean,
in
he's
charge,
not wrong.
He knows his audience.
as you know.
Who
of
likes
security.
Nancy Pelosi?
I don't really have a problem with her.
I do not like Nancy Pelosi.
I don't
I have a problem with
I don't like nor dislike her, but I think it's time for her to step aside and let someone else take her place.
I think when you look at all the privileges her husband had, and probably at the hands of her work she's done over the years, that's a very unfair person to be in control of our country at that level.
They're all like that.
And that's a
And they
problem.
They're not in
not do
charge of the
their job.
National Guard. You're in charge of the
They
National
are in
Guard.
well, I offered them National Guard. I said, we'll give you soldiers, we'll give you National Guard, we'll give you whatever you want. And they turned me down.
You're
and in
acting
fact,
defense
she turned me down.
secretary.
She turned me down in writing. They turned me down.
But you're
Did she ever
acting
get
Defense
booed
Secretary
during
Chris
this?
Miller at the time, he says you never gave a formal order to deploy the National Guard. But when it
Excuse
came
me,
to that day,
just the opposite.
He
Chris
test-
Miller wrote a book, and he's a fantastic guy, and he was ready to go. They turned him down. If you look, the mayor of Washington, D.C., lovely lady, she said, we don't want it. We don't like the look. Nancy Pelosi said, oh, we don't like the look. If they would have had I offered them 10,000 soldiers. I said, it could be 10. It could
Now he's claiming he offered 10,000 soldiers on January 6th.
be more.
Really?
No one can corroborate this. No one.
Interesting.
But I offered them specifically 10,000
Was he
soldiers.
talking about Proud Boys? Because they
That's
showed
it.
up, right?
If they would have taken 500 soldiers, you wouldn't have had the problem. They turned it down. And if you look at the Inspector General report, he says they turned it down. They made a terrible mistake.
well, Chris Miller was your acting defense secretary. He says you never gave that order. But back to what happened on that day.
He
You said
did
you
not
weren't.
say that.
He did
has
not
testified
say
Mr.
that. He
did
President.
not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about
True,
that
of
speech
course.
that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did.
Here he
I'm really cool
goes.
with that. I have-
Uh-oh. He's got a list. Look at that little
It's like
fucking chud worm.
It's like when Maury pulls out the envelope.
Did you see that tiny little fucking Benjamin Button kid there clapping his hands?
No.
Look like H. Ross Perot's grandchild. Little boy.
Can I finish?
He was ready for that list.
On January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before. And this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No,
Once
no,
it was
but you
clear,
didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
we
taken
did report
down.
it. I was reporting that
It was
day.
taken down and it wasn't
But
put
when it
back
was
up.
clear to you that they were not being peaceful, you saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows. They were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them up. When it was clear they weren't.
Did you see him smirking there when she was like beating them up? He had like a little smirk for a second.
Reminded him of his days as a slumlord.
Right
where he'd
here.
send people down to collect rent.
They were not being peaceful. You saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows. They were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them up. When it was clear they weren't
You
being
damn
peaceful,
right they were.
why did you wait 3 hours to tell them to leave the Capitol? They listened to you like no one else. You know that.
They do. I agree with that. But
So why didn't
Nancy
you tell them to go home sooner?
Nancy Pelosi and the mayor are in charge. I assume they were able to do their job. They weren't.
But
And it
Pelosi's
kicked
not in charge of Capitol
And if you remember,
security.
I made a video right outside the Oval Office in the Rose Garden. And I'm very proud of that video. I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in
What
there.
time the video?
He'll never miss an opportunity to get a jab in.
I didn't have a script.
Yeah.
To be fair, when Trump goes off script, he explains things like his audience is 5 years old.
It's
because he thinks about at a 5-year-old
Right.
level. When Biden goes off script, he wants to get ice cream cones and 5-year-olds.
It's very, very obvious when Donald Trump is reading from a script and when he's not.
It came out much later after they had already attacked the Capitol.
It was a great video. And it was a beautiful video. And it said, I mean, I don't want to read it all, but you have to go home now. You have to have peace.
You have to go home now.
I like how he's reading it so
to have
gently.
peace.
We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people of law and order. We love the people of law and order. We can't play into the hands of these other people. We have to have peace. Please go home.
Please go home.
I said that.
And then he said, "We love you. You're very special." But he left that part
You know
out.
what they did?
Please go
They
home.
took that down. And you know, to this day, it hasn't been put up. And the reason is it's so good and so conclusive that all of this nonsense and all of the tens of millions of dollars that have been spent are just wiped away with this one.
It's so
And they've
good
never
and
put
so
it back up.
conclusive.
They had another one that they did.
But didn't it come out that Pence had to call in his own
Secret
friends,
Service.
Secret Service guys to get people to come in and stop it all?
I'm pretty sure the National Guard came in under the order of either Pence or Pelosi, who also had the authority to do that kind of thing.
The same
But that
thing.
video that you referenced there, it wasn't posted until 4:17 p.m.
No, I'll tell
they
you,
breached the Capitol at 2 p.m.
That video was
Mr. President.
posted.
Yeah, he's denying a very clear timeline that's mapped out that everyone knows.
Oh, I was. This Twitter is from actually Mountain Time.
Yeah.
My apologies.
4:17
Yeah,
p.m.
actually a little bit before that.
Right, so that's my question.
Excuse me.
Because in that 3 hours, over
He'll take every minute he can get.
Little bit before that.
Excuse me,
140
it was
officers
posted
were
after the
injured.
first one I just read, though, and that was at 2 o'clock.
But I think
So he's saying that because the day before he said don't get violent, that negates everything else that happened.
Remember when I said don't get violent the day before?
Yeah.
There's this big window of shit that went down between the 2 times I told them not to get violent. Happened to lead to violence, but we'll forget about everything else said in between there.
the reason the timeline is so critical here, because going back to your influence, in
Here's
that
another
3
one I
hours,
posted.
over 140 officers
Here's
were
another
injured
one.
that
It's a
day.
great meme.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her.
He's calling the Capitol security person a thug.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's no reason to shoot her at blank range. Cold
Was she
blank
wearing the
range,
American
a
flag
shot
or a MAGA flag when she?
I think it was a MAGA flag. Pretty sure it was.
her.
He should. The person that had to do that should sue Trump.
And she was a good person. She was a patriot.
One
And there was
person
no
who was
reason.
there-
There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
The officer was not bragging about the fact that he
Oh,
killed
he
her,
was
but one
bragging.
person who was at the
He was
Capitol that day is
Trump's like, I know bragging. I've done it many times in this interview about crimes I may be under indictment for currently.
was your vice president, Mike Pence, who says that you endangered his life on that day.
I don't
Do
think
you
he was in
feel,
any danger.
Mr. President,
There were people there chanting to hang him, and they brought like gallows with them and shit.
You know, nobody went and took out who's the Kathy Griffin? Nobody took out Kathy Griffin when she pretended to murder me. Why should I help Pence?
do you feel that you owe him an apology?
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really do.
I can't believe they're clapping for this. It's so ridiculous.
Authority to do that, as you know.
What?
The vice
It's like the president can just pretend to not understand how the government works.
president does not have the authority to
Okay,
reject
are you
those,
ready? Let's
those
have
election
this one
results.
out just now, because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. He made a mistake. His lawyer said, you cannot move. I called him the human conveyor belt. I said, even if the votes, I talked to his lawyer, even if the votes are absolutely fraudulent, he can't say, yes, sir, he can't send back. And the Democrats played it, and the rhinos played it. And then...
Yes, hell's only. I am well aware that this is Trump's. Yes, it's people who have voted for Trump and people who are on the fence about him. There's no anti-Trump people in the audience here. They either love him or they're on the fence about him at the least.
The election was over. They told him he couldn't do it. And Mike said to me, I can't do it. The lawyers told me I can't do it. They can't do it. But the lawyers were wrong, because right after the election, they all met, the rhinos and the Democrats. And
Boglum
they worked out a
Chronicles
plan.
is in the chat. Boglum Chronicles. Is Trump part Boglum?
I don't see any Boglum-like qualities.
To make sure that future vice presidents don't do.
He has some
what I
Boglum
said you could
delusions.
do.
That's not what happened. You're referring to the Electoral Count Act.
That's
I've read that. There is no authority.
No,
Legal
excuse
experts,
me.
including
Is he the
Republican legal
Boglum
experts,
billionaire?
say that he does not have that authority, Mr. President.
Caitlin,
But I want
why
to move
did they
on.
change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change the law. They strengthened the law because
Why'd they change the law then?
they were worried about
Oh, they
presidents
strengthened it,
exploiting.
meaning you could do it.
Ketchup on steak,
not
a
what it means.
Boglum move.
They strengthened
Obsession
the law
with
because
fast food, a Boglum move. That taco salad he ate at Trump Tower, like saying that's the best taco salad, and
He says anything that he's involved with is the best.
Explaining why he loves Mexicans because Trump Tower has the best taco salad. That's a Boglum train of thought.
Right to do it. They convinced him he didn't, and it was a horrible thing for our country. If you would have sent those votes back to Georgia, Pennsylvania, and other states, Wisconsin, which if you look at Wisconsin...
Boglum Chronicles
they
suggests
virtually
Trump Towers might be a clock tower.
admitted now that the election was rigged.
It's
If you would
not.
have sent
Admitted
those
that,
votes
Mr.
It might
President.
be.
many of those states, they would not come back in the affirmative. And remember what I said, and you just said it pretty much, you admitted what I said was right.
I
They
did
said he
not.
didn't have the right to do it, and he did have the right to do it, and that's why they changed the law, taking that right away.
I should note that your campaign paid for a recount that happened in Wisconsin. It actually had more votes for President Biden by the end of it. But I want to move on to...
He paid for a recount. They're like, yeah, we'll give you a recount, but you got to pay for it because people got to work to recount all the votes. And the recount showed that Biden got even more votes than before the recount. That is such an epic fail.
Wayne Byer. He's a retired attorney from North Conway.
So many illegal votes were cast in Wisconsin. And if you look in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they had so many illegal votes, they didn't even know what to do with them. You're absolutely wrong.
Mr. President, there weren't any fraudulent votes in Wisconsin. I do want to get to the audience.
Mar-a-Lago has a Cobra's Cantina in it, I'm pretty sure.
For you from the audience. Wayne Byer is a retired attorney from North Conway. He's previously served in Republican administrations. He volunteered for the Republican Party.
This is going to be a spicy question, I can tell, because his tie looks like something out of a Harry Potter. He's
Gryffindor.
Is Gryffindor?
2022 midterms. He voted for you in 2020. What's your question for the president, Wayne?
Thank you for coming, Mr. President.
Thank you, Wayne.
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But
probably a couple of them got out of control.
Probably a couple of them were out of control. I'll pardon the majority, and also I'll do something. I made a glaring mistake. I did not pardon the Tiger King last time around. I will get Joe Exotic out. Vote me in.
When you
a
look
vote
at
for me
Antifa,
is a vote for Joe Exotic.
Done to Portland, and if you look at Antifa, look at what they've done to Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to.
He loves this whataboutism stuff, so he's like, well, look, they're all in prison, but look what Antifa did in Portland. He mentions BLM in Seattle, too.
Seattle. And BLM. Many people were killed.
No.
These people, I'm not.
There were people killed.
Not many people.
It's like an OB/GY and wet dream.
In CHOP, one person was killed.
There were people killed at the other ones too, though, right? An OBGYN.
Trying to justify anything.
That's
but you have
for
two standards of justice
vagina.
In
Needs
and
an
what they've
OBGYN.
done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion
Best
of them.
taco salad you've ever seen.
Did a very... And it'll be very early on.
Trump Tower Canteen.
They're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
they're
to
living
pardons,
in hell. And they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers, and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people. Many of them
Baked the last guy already served his
He's already
time?
out. Yeah, he only got like a month.
Yeah,
he's like, and that firefighters, and it's true. They even linked some Seattle police officers to the January 6th. They're fired. I mean, obviously.
Great people.
Mr. President, one of the people who was convicted was a former policeman, but he was convicted of attacking a police officer, I should note. But when you said you are considering pardoning a large portion of those charged with crimes on January 6th, does that include the 4 Proud Boys members who were charged and convicted of seditious conspiracy?
I don't know. I'd have to look at their case, but I will say in Washington, D.C., you cannot get a fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial either.
New York City!
I love these little kids. These little clapper kids. You know they all have cozy accounts.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Who's these? Are these suffragists in the front here? What's going on with this woman's
I
hair?
want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this.
Great, what he
do you
says
say
here.
to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. Okay. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge, too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her.
So pay attention to what he says here. He says he doesn't know her. He's never met her.
Have no idea who she is.
Has no idea who she is. And now he's going to do a Jared, basically.
I had a picture taken years ago with her.
So He has met her because he took a picture with her.
Yeah, but I think what he's saying is he doesn't like.
He said he's never met her.
He doesn't know her. Like he does. Like,
and he goes even further here.
Well, let's hear that.
And her husband, nice guy, John Johnson.
So he knows who her husband is.
A newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape.
Well, if he doesn't know her, how did he know that?
Happens to be African American. Called him an ape.
You know,
the judge wouldn't allow us to put that
yes.
in.
John Johnson, he was like a newscaster.
He's African American, and she called him an ape. Just saying, if one of us Republicans had done that, we'd be the most evil person in the world. If one of us Republicans said that rape is sexy, we'd be the most evil person in the world. But when E. Jean Carroll says it, that's why my approval numbers go up. Because I say what E. Jean Carroll says, but as a man.
Please like the stream, by the way, guys. It helps us out a lot.
Her dog or her cat was named Vagina.
He doesn't know her. He doesn't know anything about her, but he knows her husband and what he did for a living and what she called him, allegedly. She knows the name of her cat. He's taken pictures with her, but no, he doesn't even know her. He's never met her.
Well, this stuff tends to happen when you're under investigation for molesting somebody, you're assaulting somebody. You do learn that. And what's up with writers and terribly named cats?
And all of these things, but with her, they can put in anything. Access,
this
Hollywood.
This was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I think the whole thing, just so you understand, ready? I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely go into, other than for a couple of charities. I met her in the front door. She was about 60 years old then. This is like 22, 23 years ago.
She was 60 years old then?
I met her in the front door.
I don't think so.
I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a room, a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman, right near the cash register. And then she found out there were locks on the door. So she said, I found one that was open. She found one. She learned this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President, can I
think of it.
I know you're recounting what she said, but Mr. President.
Let me just, if I could, because you asked the question.
This was a
just
jury,
so you understand,
though.
if I was walking in at the park, because I was very famous then, and I owned the Plaza Hotel right next door, and I owned buildings around it, I'm not going into a dressing room of a crowded department store. Then I say, if she was being raped, and by the way, they said she wasn't raped. Okay, that was her charge.
By the way, not liable for the R, for the big R.
They said he didn't rape her. And I didn't do anything else either. You know what? Because I have no idea who the hell she is.
But Mr. President,
I don't know who this woman is.
Can I ask you, given your recounting
your version? I don't know who, and I tell you this.
But Mr. President,
are you ready?
can I
swear on my children, which I'd never do. I have no idea who this woman. This is a fake story.
He has an idea of who she is.
Story. We had a horrible Clinton-appointed judge. He was horrible. He allowed her to put everything in. He allowed us to put nothing in.
Trump didn't show up to defend himself, right? Didn't he say he was going to, and he never did?
No, yeah, he was not there.
Recounting your version of events
says
here.
all these cases are election interference, but they were all in motion before he declared he was running. If anything, his running is to try and get the cases thrown out.
Right now, to the audience, you referenced the trial. You did not go to the trial and actually testify. Do you wish that you had testified?
No, it wouldn't have made a difference. This was a rigged deal. My lawyer said, sir, you don't have to do it. I actually said, I think I should. It would be respectful. They said, sir, don't do it. This is a fake story, and you don't want to give it credibility.
So Taco Pena told him not to do it?
I believe it was Taco Pena.
One thing you did do in this.
Who looks like a mafia lawyer.
And I swear, and I've never
Who
done
walks
that.
like a mafia lawyer.
And I swear to I have no idea who the hell. She's a
Mr.
whack
President,
job.
you did not testify in person in this trial. There was a taped deposition of you from October in it. You defended the comments that you made on that Access Hollywood tape about being able to grab women how you want. Do you stand by those comments?
I said...
There's a few jeers from the audience right there.
If you're famous and rich or whatever I said, but I said if you're a star, you are... And I said, women let you. I didn't say you grab. I said women let. You know, you didn't use that word. But if you look, women let you. Now, they said, will you take that back? I said, look, for 1,000,000 years, this is the way it's been. I want to be honest. This is the way it's been. I can take it back if you'd like to, but if you're a famous person, if you're a star, and I'm not referring to myself, I'm saying people
Brainius
that are
Balky
famous.
says,
people,
let you what? Let you grab them by the pussy, Brainius Balky. They let you grab them by the pussy. And I can corroborate this because I'm famous.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yes.
that are
You were asked
stars,
in the
They
deposition,
let
do you
people that
consider
are rich,
yourself to be a star, and
people
you
that are
said yes.
powerful, they tend to do pretty well in a lot of different ways, okay? And you would like me to take that back? I can't take it back because it happens to
Yum
be true.
Nom
I
says,
said
by
it's
the
been
what? By the pussy, Yum Nom. Women will let you. If you have status, if you have power, if you have money, you become attractive. And the women, I don't know if you guys know this, but many women get aroused and like to be grabbed by their pussy.
Hoo-ha.
true
Their
for 1,000,000
pussy.
years, approximately a
So
million
many
years,
cunts
perhaps
in one place. It's like an OB/OGYN wet dream.
a little bit longer than that.
And they go
So
to
you
their
stand by those
OBGYN to be grabbed by their pussy.
I don't want to lie.
Mr. President, we have a lot of
here's what
questions.
she wants
Mr.
me to
President,
say.
let's
A
get to
rich
the
and
audience
famous
questions
person
tonight.
has no advantage over anyone else. Well, you do have an advantage.
Zoe says Billy is trying to be Trump's running
By
mate.
the
Confirmed.
pussy.
By the pussy. Thank you, Frank and Pinky, for the backup. Zoe, I don't know if you've ever wanted somebody to grab you by the pussy, but you could be an outlier. I don't want to be Trump's running mate. I want people to know what Trump is saying sometimes is true. And here's the flip side to that. Here's the flip side of that. Sometimes men in power don't comply to normal forms of consent and overstep their boundaries, and they molest people.
And I say unfortunately, but that's the way it is.
You said fortunately or unfortunately,
Well,
but Mr.
fortunately or
President, we have a lot of
unfortunately for
audience
her.
questions to get to tonight. I want to go back to the audience. We've got Danielle Rieger. She works as an oral surgery assistant. She's a Republican activist from Derry. She was a New Hampshire delegate for you in 2020. What's your question?
Hi, thank you so much for coming to New Hampshire to answer our questions. My question is regarding the economy. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the prices for everything skyrocket. From food to gas to utilities and insurance costs, many people's bills are up several $100s a month, including mine. If elected president again, what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill.
The drill, baby, drill?
That was an old school saying back in the day.
Is that what he says to this woman who's an oral surgeon? Was it oral surgery? Is he talking about to drill teeth?
No, I think he means for oil.
Because she's got professional oral surgery, and they do drill teeth. But oil might be the other option.
We were energy.
Imagine if he was going to answer any question asked by a woman tonight with drill, baby, drill. Like he's just thinking like, not that's his answer to women. Drill, baby, drill. Any question. I'm 50% sure that's a possibility.
Independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. And nobody had ever done what I did. We got oil down to $1.87. Actually, it fell lower than that in some cases. We had to save the oil companies. The price was getting so. We were doing incredibly. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country, probably the greatest economy in the history of the world. We were energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. We were going to be bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together ×2. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation. Any other nation. And these stupid fools ended it. And energy went from $1.87 and even lower for gasoline, for a car. They went from $1.87 to $5, $6, $7, $8, and even $9. And your electricity bills went through the roof, your heating bills went through the roof. And that's what started inflation. And it hasn't stopped because people are paying now for bacon and for eggs and for the 2 and 3 times what it was just a little while ago. We created the greatest.
Can't afford to have bacon and eggs anymore. You got to choose bacon or eggs for breakfast.
That's an easy choice for me.
Bacon?
Yeah, because I don't eat eggs usually.
I do like eggs.
Economy in history.
Most people do.
A big part of
I'm an
that
anomaly
economy was
with
I
that.
got you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country, bigger than the Reagan cuts, bigger than any. And also, Caitlin, also, as you know, we got the biggest regulation and regulatory cuts. This place was rocking, and then we were given a gift from China. And China paid a big price. And let me tell you something. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes from China. But prior to COVID coming in, and then I rebuilt the economy again, a second time. But we had, prior to COVID coming in, as from China, from Wuhan, which I said it came from Wuhan. Everybody said, oh, you're wrong about that. You're wrong. It came from Wuhan. I said it right from day one. So we had the greatest economy in the world. Here's the story. They made energy so high, and energy is all invasive. It is massive as an industry. And as
It's invasive? Does he mean innovative?
Because it lifted everything. If
Mr.
you
President,
made,
staying
if you
on the
made
economy-
donuts, if you made, no matter what you did, and we had inflation, the likes of which I guess we haven't had, as you said, for
Let him
52
finish.
years, but I think more than that.
I want to hear more about the donuts.
We had no inflation. We had the lowest energy prices we've had in decades. This country was rocking and rolling. And by the way, we had the most secure border in the history of our country.
Yeah, I wonder why. You lifted all the fucking restraints to keep big corporations from fucking up our country. And then it went into the fucking hands of ice cream cone Biden.
Chocolate chip.
We have more questions on the economy. I want to make sure we get to all of those. As you know, the U.S. right now could be just 3 weeks away from defaulting on its debt. That could mean millions of jobs lost, people not getting their Social Security payments. People believe it would put the U.S. economy into a recession. On that topic, I want to bring in Marta Cervella, a student here at St. Anselm. She is an undeclared voter who did not vote in 2020. Marta, what's your question?
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi, thank you.
So my question is, what do you think about the United States' current debt
This is Sam
situation,
Bankman-Fried's
and how
side
can we move
piece.
forward?
Such an important question. So we're at $33 trillion, a number that nobody ever thought possible. When we had our economy rocking and rolling just prior to COVID coming in.
Is rocking and rolling going to be the new term? I'm here for it.
Literally, we were making a fortune. And oil, we were going to make so much money from oil, we were going to start paying off debt. But then with COVID coming in, we had to do other things. We had to keep this country alive because it was so serious. But we have to get the country back. We have to lower energy prices. We have to lower interest rates. Interest rates are through the roof. Energy has to come down. It all has to come down, and we have to start paying off debt. But when we have a debt limit, and they use that very seriously with me. They came in, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using it. We'll violate it. We'll do whatever. They talked a whole lot different than they do right now. I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, if they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default.
Did Trump call COVID a Democratic hoax? I thought he was always on board with COVID, at least somewhat. He wasn't about the fucking masks.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't believe they're going to do a default because I think the Democrats will absolutely cave because you don't want to have that happen. But it's better than what we're doing right now. Because
Everybody
we're
is saying
spending money
he did call it a hoax. I just remember him being on board for the vaccine. And
he called the virus, he said it's their new hoax.
Okay.
But obviously he flipped on that because he stopped denying that, or he acknowledged that it was real.
Drunken sailors.
So
you know
just
the
to be clear,
expression?
Mr. President, you
It
think the
began by
U.S. should
Easter.
default if the White House
Both
does not agree
sides
to
made
the
a lot
spending
of
cuts
terrible
Republicans
claims
are
about
demanding?
COVID early on.
Because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. Our country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the
That's
Oval
when I was
Office.
president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president.
What?
The U.S. defaulting would be
Look,
massively consequential.
It's very simple, okay? All the bad stuff goes down just a little easier with Donald Trump as president. I'm the spoonful of sugar. Without me, you just have Biden and the same problems. That's not fair.
For everyone in this room, for all
You don't know.
Americans.
It's psychological. It's really psychological more than anything else. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe you have a bad week or a bad day. But look, you have to cut your costs. We're spending $7 trillion on, much of it on nonsense. $7 trillion on nonsense.
We've got
And
another
I actually
question from a
said,
voter tonight.
get all of that money that was wasted, and frankly, the Senate should have never approved it. Get all that money that was wasted, and if they don't get rid of that, you'll have to default. Okay?
Mr. President, we've got another voter here tonight.
And by the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold strong and they say let's say we want $5 trillion off, I really think the Democrats have no choice but to do it. And if I win, they're going to be doing the same thing to me in 2 years. I guarantee you that.
Mr. President,
they're
we've
going to
got
play a
another
very
voter
hard
here
ball game,
tonight.
and they did that before.
Bobby Petrino has been waiting very patiently.
Sure.
He's a student at St. Anselm. He's a member of College Republicans. He's an undeclared voter right now. He supported you in 2020.
He's got
Bobby,
a cozy.tv stream.
He looks like he fits the bill.
Trump.
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them, and they said it doesn't mean anything. They're actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do.
You did ban bump stocks in, I believe, high-capacity magazines.
But he
too.
just said bump stocks aren't even that big of a deal.
Right.
All they do
well, if they're
is,
not that big of a deal, then why ban them?
because all they do is make you shoot inaccurately.
No, they make you shoot faster than you could without them.
And he's saying by banning the bump stocks, he makes sure that shooters get the targets they want, and not all the innocent bystanders. A ban for bump stocks was a win for innocent bystanders everywhere.
Big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger, it's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
Mr. President, you dealt with a lot of mass shootings when you were in office. This year, there have already been more than 200 mass shootings in 2023. If you are reelected, are there any new gun restrictions that you would sign into law?
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very, very much harden. And I'm a very believer.
We will harden. What does that mean?
Teachers. I love teachers.
Maybe
I
harden.
think they're incredible, and they love the children. Not
Prosecution
quite like the parents,
for the
but they
crime?
love the children in many cases almost as much. Many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-soldiers, ex-policemen.
Is he going to say gun the soldiers up?
Weapons, and you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards. You have to harden your entrances.
So he's
you have
saying
to make
gun up the
schools
teachers?
safe, and you can make
Apparently.
other places safe. But
I like
it is
that.
a big mental health problem in this country more than anything else. And remember, we have 700.
I think the teachers should have guns. You should get kids that get voted in as sheriffs,
I don't
and they
agree.
get guns. Like how the kids run for school president and secretary. The other kids should also run for sheriff and shoot 'em up deputy. That'd be pretty sweet. Have a little Deputy Charlie running around with a fucking pistol.
Million guns, 700 million. Many people, if they don't have a gun, they're not going to be very safe. I mean, if they don't have a gun, it gives them security. Now, you need them for entertainment, you need them for hunting, you need them for a lot of different things. But there are people that if they didn't have the privilege of having a gun in some form, many of them would not be alive today. You know, there's a certain country that had a very strict policy on guns, very, very strict.
Which country?
And, Brazil, okay? Brazil, very strict. And the former president of Brazil, and the killing was incredible. They were walking into people's homes and killing people. They had no protection. He said, go out and buy guns. People went out and bought guns, and it went way down. The numbers went way down because they had security. If you look at Chicago, Chicago has the single toughest gun policies in the nation. They are so tough.
Let's bring up Chicago. Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill.
You can't breathe. New York, too, and other places also. All of those places are the worst and most dangerous places. So that's not the answer.
No new restrictions that you would sign if reelected, Mr. President. I want you to meet Julie Miles, a registered nurse from Merrimack. She's a Republican who voted for you in 2020. Julie, what's your question for the president?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate you answering this question this evening. How do you plan to appeal to women voters in New Hampshire who are concerned about the Dobbs decision and how states may change their laws?
It's such a great question, and it was such a great victory, and people are starting to understand it now. You know that they wanted to bring it back to the states, but that was probably the least important part of that victory. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing for pro-life because it gave pro-life something to negotiate with. Pro-life had absolutely nothing being stuck in Roe v. Wade to negotiate with. And now what's happening, and I see it all over, deals are being made, deals are going to be made, and look, everybody that was president.
How about pro-life takes a look at the infant mortality rates in the United States, and why are they up higher in the states that have restrictive access to abortions? Why don't you figure out those states that want to ban abortions, figure out a way to get the babies that people actually want to have to live at a better level than the rest of the fucking country. Maybe you shouldn't have banned all the money to Planned Parenthood, you fucking idiots.
It does look like a win to his voting base, though. I think that's one thing he's going to ride for a while, was like his to me, it's just seemed like luck, but he could say it was his ability to get that many Supreme Court justices in there.
I don't think it was luck, but I also don't think it was him.
It was timing.
It was more the fucking turtle. What was his name? The little fucking turtle politician guy.
I was thinking of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
No, the senator. I cannot remember his damn name. Everybody calls him
Mitch.
Turtle. Yeah, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell kept Obama from getting the first one in and snuck the third one in, before Trump got out. That shit was all like McConnell. That was McConnell's victory.
Wanted to get rid and tried to get rid of Roe v. Wade.
You mean
for 50
Republicans?
years. Republicans. For 50 years, this has been going on. Actually, a couple of Democrats too. But for 50 years, this has been going on. I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it. But by doing it, things are happening that are very, very positive. And I happen to believe in the exceptions, the life of the mother, rape, incest, like Ronald Reagan believed in the exceptions. But I happen to believe that. I think it's frankly important to do that, but a lot of people are, against that. A relatively small.
I think abortion should be legal as long as the father wants it.
Relatively small number, but the way I look, I think it's very important to say this. I consider the other side to be radical because the other side, under Roe v. Wade and other things, the other side, they're radical because they will. Remember the debate with Hillary Clinton? They said, rip the baby out of the womb at the end of the 9th month.
Who
they
says
will kill
that?
the baby in the 9th month. If you look at that crazy governor of Virginia,
Rip the baby out of the womb.
the former governor,
Rip it.
he said, no, the baby will be born, and then we'll decide essentially whether or not to execute
But
the
Mr.
baby.
President, can we talk about what you would do if
No,
you
but
are
these
They don't
are the
do that.
radical people.
reelected?
It's not the pro-life
This is
people
a
that are radical.
If you are
post-birth execution. The liberals want to rip the baby out barehanded and snap its neck.
Rip it.
elected and you're
Like an
back in the Oval
action
Office
movie.
and you get legislation to your desk, would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
What I'll do is negotiate so that people are happy. But the fact that I was able, I'm so proud of it. We put 3 great justices on the Supreme Court. We have almost 300 federal judges on the Supreme Court.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you would sign a federal abortion ban into law.
I said this. I want to do what's right. And we're looking. And we want to do what's right for everybody.
But what's right?
But now, for the first time, the people that are pro-life have negotiating capability, because you didn't have it before. They could kill the baby in the 9th month or after the baby was born. Now they won't be able to do that.
But I think this is a really important question for you to answer, because this is something every Republican, including those who are running against you for the nomination, are being asked about, is would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
And many of them are going to give you the same answer as I am. First of all, I am honored to have done what I did. And a lot of people said in 150 years, he's now the most consequential president because he saved so many lives. And I'm honored to have done it.
People say that. I love it. He does the people say this. He doesn't say who they are or show where they said it. but we're just supposed to take his word for it. People are saying it.
What's the people who are pro-life?
Because of what I've done, we now have a great negotiating ability. That's
One
what I do
good
in
thing
life.
is FDA just approved over-the-counter birth control. So that'll be nice. You can at least start chewing that if you don't want to have a kid.
We have
Maybe
a
they'll
great
make it cheap enough where you can afford it.
negotiating ability, and I think we're going to be able to
But
get
what do you
something
mean
done.
negotiating ability? Because the question that Republicans have, and some of your allies on Capitol Hill say that they want to introduce legislation when it comes to banning abortion. If they send it to your desk, would you sign it?
Some people are at 6 weeks. Some people are at 3 weeks,
Where's
2
President
weeks.
Trump?
President Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country.
Hey, I'm going to say this right now, those of you watching, like the stream, or I'm going to rip this 9-month baby out of the womb, and then we'll decide what happens to it.
And what's fair for the country. But the fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50...
Lowbrow Jester says, I think every new person born in the U.S. is expected to accumulate $50,000 to $150,000 in debt. I'm pretty sure it's much bigger than that now. Maybe close to $150K to accumulate upon birth. But once they become 18 and are responsible for it, it goes up significantly as well. There's a lot of debt. The cool thing about debt is that if they're not going to send anybody to break our legs, we don't have to pay it. I don't know if you ever took another loan shark loan, but that's how it works.
50 years of trying. They worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it.
Hank Chill in the pleb chat says ban birth. Well, let's see what happens if we ban birth.
Worked, and I was so honored to have done it. We are in a very good negotiating position right now, only because of what I was able to do. And remember this, again, you talk about radicalism. People that will kill a baby in the 9th month or the 8th month or the 7th month or after the baby is born, they're the radicals, not the pro-life.
I just want to give you...
They're the radicals. I think that is a fair thing to say, is that people who want to have late term abortions are radical, right? I don't think most people want that. Is that wrong to say? I also think there's a lot of radical fucking people on the other side who need to worry about their own backyard and get their infant mortality rates down. Every fucking red state that wants to ban this shit with your high-ass infant mortality rates, you sick fucking idiots. Going over worrying about Sally Sloop getting an abortion when you can't keep your own fucking porch clean, can't sweep your own fucking porch. Stop trying to defund Planned Parenthood and realize what good it does for infant fucking births, you dumb shits.
One more chance, though, because you did not answer whether or not you'd sign a federal abortion ban or how many weeks into pregnancy you believe abortion should be banned.
Yeah, but I've given you the answer probably 4 times already.
Which one is
it,
I've given you an answer 4 times. If you want the 5th answer, you're just going to have to pay for it by signing up to my OnlyFans on Truth Social.
Looking at a solution that's going to work. Very complex issue for the country.
He talks and talks and talks, yet says absolutely nothing.
Well, it's just really good because most people can't discern any sort of real information beyond what they're told anyways. He's just easy listening. Honestly, listening to Donald Trump is a lot like listening to me. I don't say shit either. People just like to nod and appreciate the fact they're talking to a guy that can walk around and grab people by the pussy.
People on both sides of an issue, but we are now in a very strong position. Pro-life people are in a strong position to make a deal that's going to be good and going to be satisfactory for them. If you weren't able to get rid of, you wouldn't even be having a discussion, if you weren't able to get rid of Roe v. Wade, which put pro-life in a dead position, a horrible position. They could kill the baby at any time they wanted to, but we did something that nobody thought was doable. And other Republican presidents, and others, by the way, they wanted to get it out. They also wanted to bring it back to the states, but bringing it back to the states is a less important issue
But that's why
than
it's
the
the
issue
question
that we
about
just
a federal
talked about.
abortion ban. You did not say yes or no to that.
It
You did
depends
not say how many
it depends
weeks.
what the deal is. Lindsey Graham's
You did not say
a
how
good
many
man.
weeks.
He's got an idea, and a lot of other people have an idea. And I look at all the
And a lot of people will be curious what your idea.
Say.
By the pussy. Grab him by the pussy. Who say pussy? Grab them by the pussy, Camila. I wish I was in a choir.
Right is on that. President Trump, we've got more questions to come for you tonight. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Hey, the update we just made in all our data centers?
Yeah.
Our stores are...
Dude, this guy's hair's on fire, Ben. This guy's hair is actually on fire, Ben.
I gotta skip these.
Ben, there's a hair fire. Ben, I'm worried about this guy. He's got curls. I have curls. Could this happen to me?
Yes.
Oh, that's not cool, Ben. Open Gangnam Style.
There we go.
Welcome back to CNN's Republican Presidential Town Hall with former President Donald Trump. President Trump, I'd like you to meet Jennifer Simmons. She is a stay-at-home mom and former town selectman from Wyndham. She's a Republican, and she voted for you in 2020. Jennifer, what's your question tonight?
Good evening, Mr. President. Title 42 is expected to expire tomorrow. Our southern border and now our northern border are experiencing record migration.
The northern border?
We learned on May 2nd that the Biden administration plans on deploying...
There's Canadian migrants sneaking over the northern border? I can't imagine that there's that much of that happening.
1,500 troops to the southern border. Do you agree with deploying troops to the border, and how will a Trump administration slow down the rate of migrants coming across all our borders?
Sure. A very fair question, especially since tomorrow is going to be a day of infamy. You're going to have tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. Even the judge, the judge overruled them when they wanted to terminate it early. And he said, that you better extend this thing. The judge in Texas said, I hope you're going to extend this, but this is my policy that they're letting terminate because they lost in court. They wanted to go earlier. You're going to have millions of people pouring into our country right now at a level that nobody's ever seen before. These people are sick. Anybody that wants this to happen to our country, they're destroying our country, and this should not be allowed to happen. How they're not going to do a version of Title 42 or my Title 42, which was tough. If people are sick and have infectious diseases and lots of other problems, we don't want them being into our country. We have enough problems right now. We have problems like we've never had in the history of our country.
But Mr. President,
our country is being destroyed.
The reason it's ending is because the health policy, the COVID era pandemic emergency, is coming to an end. That's what Title 42 was. You put it in place because of COVID.
True, but
when it comes to big questions about what your immigration policy would look like if you are reelected, some of your Republican rivals have criticized you for not fulfilling the promises that you made on the campaign trail, like finishing the border wall. So how did voters know that you would get those done if you're reelected?
I did finish the wall. I built a wall. I built hundreds of miles of wall.
Hundreds of miles of wall.
And then I said, we have to build some more because there are areas like water going through a dam. There are some areas where a lot of people are coming. You close up one and they come into another. And we started another 100 miles of wall. In fact, I said to my people, if we start this and don't finish it, and then we had a rigged election, I'm sorry to say it.
The election was not rigged, Mr. President. You can't keep saying that all night long.
You can't keep saying that all night long.
He will.
And they took over and
Watch
they decided not to
He'll
finish
never
it. It would
stop
have taken
saying
them 3 weeks. I built hundreds of miles of wall. If we didn't have
Wasn't
it,
there
it would
only
be
like
hard to believe
17
it.
miles of new wall?
She mentions how much it was, and it was hardly anything.
Could be any worse. They're just letting people flow into our country. Look, a country has to have borders. There's never been anything like is happening to our country right now.
You built about 52 miles of new wall when you were in office, Mr. President. It wasn't the complete wall. One other thing that with
No, but I have to respond to that.
With your immigration, it was only about 52 miles of new wall.
This is what she does. I built hundreds of miles. Some of the wall was up there, and it would be laying on the ground, rusted, rotten steel, rusted, rotten wood, and what the radical left crazy Democrats did, if there's a piece of wood...
Rusted, rotten wood. So wood... I've never heard of wood getting rusty.
I reinforced the rusty, rotten wood wall.
They consider that a wall. I built 30-foot walls that go down 7 feet into the ground.
The wood could have had rusty nails in it, you guys. Please
So wood
chill.
sitting in the ground, they said, oh, he's not building a wall. We already had a wall. Because this is the game. They're a party of disinformation.
It's not a game, Mr. President. It's about 52 miles of new wall. One other
Okay,
immigration policy
52 was higher than I thought.
I built new wall. I built new wall.
52 miles
for
according
hundreds
to
of miles.
CBP, Mr.
What I
President.
did is I replaced other wall that was laying down, that was up and rotting in the ground for 30 years. Some of it was steel that you couldn't even see.
Mr. President, it was only about 52 miles of new wall, but moving on, another immigration policy you had was the zero-tolerance immigration policy that separated families at the border. If you are
I
reelected...
love his explanation for that.
52 miles of new wall. Yeah, sure. I've told many women I have a 9-incher.
The ACLU is saying that
We all
Biden's
embellish.
plan that is replacing Title 42 is just as bad or worse for immigrants.
Yeah, I was just reading over it, the new Title 42, and I gotta say, if I was an immigrant, it would not be the best time for me to come into America.
So they're going to talk about the thing where Trump would separate families that came here. They would like separate the children from the parents.
That was an Obama thing originally, right?
It's funny how he defends it here.
Pulling out, instituting that?
Well, when you have that policy, people don't come. If the family hears that they're going to be separated,
it's a
they love
deterrent.
their family, they don't come. So I know it sounds harsh, but if you remember they said I was building prisons for children. It turned out that it was Obama that was building
But
the
would you
prisons for the children.
re-implement that if you're reelected? Is
Well,
that what you're saying?
we have to save
These
our
tiny
country,
little
all right?
prisons for children, they're so cute. Obama made them. I wish I did. I wish I did.
That's a yes.
But it was Obama.
When you say to a family that if you come, we're going to break you up, they don't come. And we can't afford to have any more. Look
We're
at
gonna
New York
steal
City.
your
Look what's
children.
happening. They're living
We're
in
going to
Central
Rumpelstiltskin your little kids.
Whoa, that's a great pause right there.
Everybody
Park
kiss
in
Trump.
New York City. The city is being swamped. Los Angeles is being swamped. Iowa is being swamped. Our whole country is being destroyed. Millions of people are coming into our country. And you know what the number is going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the year? Not the 4 million that you hear and the 3 million and 2. I think it's going to be 15 million people. And in these people, they have no idea where they come from. They come from 129 different countries so far. 120,
Mr.
not just the
President,
4 that we talked
Just to
about.
put a button on that, it sounds like what you're saying is that you're not ruling out re-implementing that immigration policy. I want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican. This will be the first election that she has voted in. What's your question for the president, Caitlin?
Hello, President Trump. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all,
This
thank
is
you
good.
very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off, no longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened.
So he's saying the Ukraine war just would not have happened at all.
I do believe that. Yeah, they were calling for a war in 2016, and Hillary was probably going to push that way in 2016. And a lot of the reasons people were saying vote Trump was to keep out of a war with Russia. And it looks like it's been an agenda for a while. So Trump might not have had that war happen.
But the war happened because of NATO and the annexation of Crimea and that kind of stuff. Whoever the U.S. president would have had little to no effect.
Well, unless Trump was working out a deal with Russia, like he was buddy over there. Remember when he was going around with Putin and fucking North Korea? He was in North Korea.
North Korea has nothing to do with this.
Well,
even the
Trump
Democrats
had some
admit
interesting friends during his presidency.
That Putin knew it would have never happened, and his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened, but this
Which
would never have
Democrats say
happened.
that,
And
Mr.
all those
President?
dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that
Or geography.
they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money, because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
that was
I happen
when you
to
asked
like.
him for an investigation
Yeah, that's right. And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You were impeached over that. But let's stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question is, would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and
impeached
funding?
by a crazy woman named Nancy
But
Pelosi.
the question here is, would you give Ukraine
playing the invisible
weapons
accordion
and funding if you were
I
elected?
would sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in 1 day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in 1 day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely
Do you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. Now,
Stab McHugh says, then do it now, Trump. Why would Trump do it now? He's gotta save some work for when he's president and on the payroll.
Can I just follow up on that? You
But
said
one
you
of the
don't
things
think
you
in
have
terms
to
of
do is
winning
you have
and
to get
losing.
the- you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe-
just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that
just
you just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win. You
know what
when
I'll
you were
say?
in-
I'll
when you
say
were in
this.
office-
I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and
that's
they
not
should
an
be.
answer about who
And they
should
should
win the war.
equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO.
But I'm
when I
asking you
sat down,
about
I got
Ukraine
them
right
to
now,
put up
Mr.
hundreds
President.
of billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I
let's
want
talk about
Europe.
what's happening in Ukraine,
excuse me.
Mr.
I want
President.
Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us.
So
They
he's
think-
not answering because the question is whether or not he would provide aid to Ukraine like we are currently. But he's saying Europe needs to put up more money.
Well, I thought the question was, does he want Ukraine to win?
The question was, would he continue to provide aid?
We're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you respected President Putin. Do
Yeah,
you
I do.
still respect him today?
He made a tremendous mistake. He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart. He said President Xi of China, right, is smart. Okay, 1.5 billion people. He's the ruler of 1.5 billion people. I said, yeah, he's a smart guy. How dare he say he's smart? Of course he's smart. They want you to say he's a stupid person.
Yeah, I
He's not a
actually
stupid
like
person.
Trump's answer there. Not saying he wants either side to win. He's saying he wants to end the war. He's saying he wants to create a deal between the two countries that's beneficial to each. I like that answer. Whether or not he could actually make it happen, that's
in 24 hours.
I mean, 24 hours, 24 days. Oh, I don't know what he could do, but I like that answer. I like when a politician's not a fucking military shill, not pushing the military industrial complex. I don't believe it. I don't think he really cares, but it'd be. I mean, $170 billion from America to Ukraine. That's a lot.
He's very smart. He's very cunning. And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his
His mistake was going in. He would have never gone in if I was president. We used to talk about it there.
Do you believe that he is a war criminal?
What?
Do you believe that Putin is a war criminal? He's responsible for the deaths of thousands
Well,
of
I think
Ukrainian men
this.
and
I think
women
it's
and
something
civil
that
children.
should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later. Because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped. Because if he's going to be a war criminal where people are going to go and grab him and execute him, he's going to fight a lot harder than he's fighting, under the other.
I don't think they're trying to execute him per se. I mean, he was charged by like the international court, but I don't think they want to execute him. So that's just a weird thing to say.
DJ Cryptos Rock says, what would be the beneficial for all end to the war? Well, I think if Trump was able to negotiate Ukraine getting their land that's being unoccupied, like what would that take, right?
Ending the war would definitely be beneficial globally because it is cause a ripple effect that has hurt the global economy.
But he's saying, what would the good for all end be? Like
the war ending would be better for the economy.
But he's saying how would you make that happen to beneficial to both sides, right? How would you make it so
it's beneficial to Russia to stop already because they haven't even made it to the occupation stage of the invasion. They've been invading for over a year and they have not been successful, and it's been very costly, and there's growing dissension in the ranks back in Russia because they don't want to go to war, like a war that's clearly failing.
See, you guys are gonna laugh at me when I lay out this plan, but don't think of it in a.
No one ever laughs at you.
Don't think of it in a form of comedy. Think of it as reality. Look what has been taken away from Russia. They don't have McDonald's. Trump goes over there and offers Russia this plug-in back to America. We're going to bring the Big Mac back to Russia. We're going to do everything to make Russia a happier country, and we're going to give Ukraine back the occupation because Russia's now going to have not just Big Macs, but they're going to have their own fucking clock tower.
Dream houses.
They're going to have clock towers.
Circumstance. That's something to be discussed at a later date.
Isn't
right now, we want to get that war settled. And I'm not talking about the money either. I'm talking about all the lives that are the number of people being killed in that war is far greater than you're hearing. When they blow up a city and those buildings come pouring down and then they say 2 people were injured, no, hundreds and thousands of people are being killed, and we have to get that war settled.
We have more with former President Trump. Right after this, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with questions from voters right after that.
Trump's going to go in. He's going to say, look, Putin, we know you have Steven Seagal. How would you like a few other celebrities to add to your cabinet? Trump would give him John Voight. Trump would give him James Woods.
I don't think Steven Seagal's a part of his cabinet, though.
Is he not always hanging out with Putin now?
That doesn't mean he's a member of his cabinet.
He's like his chief of security.
I don't believe that's true either.
How many celebrities are you willing to give up to Putin to end this war, Ben?
I don't give a shit about celebrities, so all of them.
You give him Emma Stone?
Sure.
Fuck no.
Welcome back to
We keep Emma Stone, Ben.
I say we send Natalie Portman first round.
Don't you fucking dare. Take it back. Take it back,
Ben. We have more voters' questions I should note in here in New Hampshire to get to, but I also want to talk about some of the other investigations that you're facing. We talked about others at the top, but one of those is the special counsel's investigation into classified documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago. Why did you take those documents with you when you left the White House?
I had every right to under the Presidential Records Act. You have the Presidential Records Act. I was there, and I took what I took, and it gets declassified. Biden, on the other hand, he has 1,850 boxes.
Zoe says Billy is a celebrity, so off to Russia he goes. I wouldn't fucking do much in this world to end sickos, but I would go live in Russia to end the Ukrainian war. I would.
Boxes sent to Chinatown, where they don't speak even English in that Chinatown we're talking about.
Yeah, he keeps being like, Joe Biden, he put the top secret documents in Chinatown. I'm like, what is he talking about? He brings it up so many times. They don't even speak English there in Chinatown. It's like, which Chinatown? Are they talking about New York?
Nobody talks about him. They talk about us. Just so you understand, I had every right to do it. I didn't make a secret of it.
Didn't seem like you had every right to do it. They raided your house.
You know, the boxes were stationed outside of the White House. People were taking pictures of the GSA and the various people.
I got to stop you right there,
that
though,
were
because the
moving.
Presidential Records Act, which is not well known to a lot of people, I read it. It does not say that you can take documents with you. It says actually that they are the property of the federal
It says you talk,
government.
you negotiate, you make a deal. It's not criminal, by the way.
It does not
the
say that you
Presidential
can
Records Act is
negotiate.
not criminal. And just so
It does
you
not
know,
say you can negotiate to
just
take
so
the
you-
documents with you.
Can I tell you? Just so you understand, the Presidential Records Act is not criminal. I took the documents. I'm allowed to. You know who else took them? Obama took them. Nixon took them.
Obama did
Reagan
not
took
take
them.
documents.
Oh, he didn't?
The difference here
He
that I'd like
Take
to
a
know.
look. Reagan
National
took them.
Archives-
Take a look where? Show us where Obama took documents. Please.
Says that President Obama
Even
did
Jimmy
not
Carter,
take
even Mike
documents.
Pence had some documents, and he's a
You
very...
Wow, he's ratting out his buddy even more, man. Just throw. Just,
Even Michael Pence, all he had to do was relegate the states, their ability to vote in me as president. He didn't even do that, and he stole documents. And, you know, he calls his wife mother, right? That's weird, isn't it?
You referenced
But you know who
Biden.
took him more than anybody is Joe Biden. He has 1,800 boxes,
That's
and
not
nobody
accurate,
even
Mr.
knows.
President.
1,800 boxes?
And nobody talks about him.
Mr. President,
And they
that's not accurate.
put a rough guy on us, and they, in the
I think it's
meantime, they have
important, Mr.
nobody.
President, to actually set the record straight here. They took documents, including President or Vice President Pence. When they realized they had documents, they turned them back over. The difference is that you waited to turn yours over, and it was
Excuse
a year and
me.
a half effort that included a subpoena with those documents.
Excuse me. He only returned those boxes after he saw they cared about them with me.
Included a
when you had
raid
those
on my
documents.
house. That's what it included.
But
they
you had
didn't raid.
you'd gotten a
they
subpoena
didn't raid
and they had not
Biden's
been
house.
turned over yet.
They didn't raid Biden's house. You know what happened? They put him in the house. That's the one with the Corvette, where the documents were laying all over the floor. That was fine. And you know who happens to be at Mar-a-Lago? Secret Service, and they're phenomenal. I have Secret Service. He didn't have Secret Service. The other thing, the vice president cannot declassify. He didn't have the right to declassify. He has documents from when he was a senator. And even Democrat senators say, I can't believe it. No, I went by the Presidential Records Act.
That's not
and
what
we
the
were
Presidential
negotiating
Records
with
Act
NARA.
says. That's not what it says,
And
Mr.
NARA has
President.
red flagged a thing called the Constitution of the United
Is
States.
he quoting Panera Bread now?
the Bill of Rights, because they consider them
Mr.
dangerous
President, that's not what it
documents.
says,
Those are the people we're dealing
and I should note that there is a special counsel investigating your document situation, also President Biden's document situation. When it comes to your documents, did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way,
Not really. Just Kanye and Nick Fuentes.
Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right. I
can make paper airplanes and use them as cum rags. I have the right.
Extremely left group of people. Extremely left. And I was negotiating with them. All of a sudden, they raided my house. They didn't raid the house of Joe Biden. They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like
Joe
you
Biden
did. And so
took
that's the question.
1,850 boxes.
But that's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah. What
do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person. I'll tell you.
Whoa!
Can you answer why you held on to the documents?
I was negotiating. And
I don't think. I mean, she's being argumentative, but I don't think
You're
she's
a nasty person.
We were talking to
You're a nasty
NARA,
person.
that's Washington, to bring whatever they want. They can have whatever they want. When we left Washington, we had the boxes lined up on the sidewalk outside for everybody. People are taking pictures of them. Everybody knew we were taking those boxes. And the GSA, the government service, the GSA was the one taking them. They brought them down to Mar-a-Lago. We were negotiating with NARA. All of a sudden, they raid our house. When Biden had his documents, he won't give back the 1,850 boxes. And you're going to find some real gems in there.
But it was
So
Biden
you
who
can't have
alerted
all
them that
these
he
different-
had the documents.
1,850 boxes
The National
now.
Archives reached out to you to get your documents back. Why did you not turn them over when you got a subpoena
Because we were
asking for you to turn
negotiating
them
with
over?
them. We were negotiating with them as per the Presidential Records Act. We were negotiating with NARA.
That's not what
Very
the
nice
Presidential Records
people,
Act says. I've
but they
seen
got to
it.
love our Constitution a little bit more, and they shouldn't red flag it, by the way. Very nice people. We were negotiating with NARA, and that's what the Presidential Records Act says, because Richard Nixon surprisingly, had problems. And he had a lot of problems dealing with NARA. And they ended up passing legislation called the Presidential Records Act just for this kind of a thing. We were dealing with them. We were talking. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Wait. We were talking to them. We would have done it. But all of a sudden, they raided the house. Now, why hasn't the FBI raided Biden?
But I just explained to you why. No. It's because he's the one, they alerted the government that they had those documents and had them come and get the documents from his house. No, my question for you, though, when it comes to documents, do you still have any classified documents?
I cannot wait to see all of the people complaining in the comments of this video after we're done.
What about which parts?
Oh, all of it. Like, there's gonna be so many people like, you guys said this stupid shit about Trump. You didn't say the smart shit about Trump. You guys, there's gonna be so much complaining in there. I cannot wait for that.
In your possession.
Are you ready?
Do you?
No, I don't have anything. I have no classified documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them. But
no,
why?
You have to declassify
Let me ask you a question. Why is it that Biden had 9 boxes in Chinatown? And he gets a lot of money from China. Why is that?
Okay.
Why aren't people?
Why aren't people bringing that up?
And why don't they put this guy Jack Smith and his group of thugs? Why don't they put him in charge of that?
I need to stop you right there because there's no evidence of what you just said there. What you're referring to there is an office that he had after leaving the vice presidency. He had a temporary office. But I want to ask you about another investigation that you're facing.
You don't know the subject.
I do know the subject.
You don't know the subject.
Pennsylvania, but he also had 9 boxes in Chinatown.
Chinatown, 1,850 boxes in his fucking palatial estate, but 9 boxes in Chinatown.
And then he walks a couple blocks down to get some egg foo young.
Which is the one that's happening in Georgia, where they are investigating.
No, Sticky, it's only 9 boxes in Chinatown.
Why didn't Biden have the boxes in Little Italy?
Because Little Italy's not paying him money.
Nope. Not even K-Town.
Chinatown gives him free Mugu Gai Pan.
China.
Efforts to overturn the election results in the state of Georgia.
I did nothing wrong. It was a perfect phone call.
Let me finish my
9 missing boxes in China.
Wrong. I did nothing wrong. It was a perfect phone call.
Damn.
Question. At the center of that is that call that you had with the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger.
Perfect call.
Given the fact
he's talking about the call when he called Georgia and he's like, I need you to find me some votes.
That there are indictments expected to come in that case this summer, is that a call you would make again today?
Yeah, I called questioning the election. I thought it was a rigged election. I thought it had a lot of problems.
He's playing the invisible accordion again.
I had I guess he's Secretary of State. I called. Listen to this. There are like 7 lawyers on the call, many of them from there. We're having a call. We're having a normal call. Nobody said, oh, gee, he shouldn't have said that. Why? If this call was bad, I questioned the election.
You asked him to find you votes.
I didn't ask him to find anything.
We've heard the audio tape, Mr. President. There's an audio of you asking him to find you 11,000 something votes.
You owe me votes because the election.
That's not what he said.
Was rigged. That election was rigged. And if this call was bad, why didn't him and his lawyers hang up? How dare you say that? This was a perfect
Well, they were clearly concerned enough. They recorded the call, and I should note that
this was a call.
Why didn't they hang up on me rather than record me for more evidence against me?
Wow.
It's made to question the results of election. And we have. And when we can't make a call to question election results, then this country ought to just forget about it.
You weren't just questioning the election results.
I was
you were
questioning
asking
Forget about
to
it.
find you votes. And I should note that there is no evidence of fraud. There is no rigged election in the state of Georgia. I want to get back to the audience, though, Mr. President, because those are false claims you're making about what happened in Georgia. Jordan Sullenberger is here. He's an undeclared voter from Hollis. He voted for you in 2020. Jordan, what is your question for President Trump tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thank you very much.
I'm 26. I'm a veteran. I help manage a private aviation company.
You want a job?
I'd love one, yeah.
I'm looking for somebody very good.
You can never do the job.
I'm not for mandates or government interference in private business, but I've seen Republicans going after us like DeSantis after Disney.
Right.
What would you do as president to protect us from government interference?
Well, I'm the one that really wants to protect you. All of these fake investigations of me are about election interference. They think because I'm leading Biden by 11 points, 7 points, 9 points, I'm leading DeSanctimonious by a lot. By 40 points or 45 points.
He got his shot in on DeSanctimonious.
And think about the future, because right now his future is not looking so good. I will tell you this. We are really putting it to Biden. But he's putting it to himself because the economy stinks, inflation is horrible, and the border is a disaster. And by the way he got out of Afghanistan was the single most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Mr. President, I have one more question for you.
It wasn't great.
Tonight, and I think while we're in front of the voters here in New Hampshire, this is a fundamental question for you. You are running in the 2024 race. If you are the Republican nominee and you are in that 2024 race, will you commit tonight to accepting the results of
Gonzo
the
keeps
2020?
pointing out that the audience is full of Republicans and independent people or non-declared voters that have possibly voted for Trump in the past.
Yes.
Like that's yes, this audience is very much a pro-Trump audience. You can't listen to this audience and think it's a representation of the majority of America.
No.
But you can think of it as a representation of Trump supporters. And when they clap, see what they're clapping for and see why Trump supporters support Trump.
Afghanistan was the single most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
The question she asked him
Mr.
here.
President, I have one more question for you here tonight, and I think while we're in front of the voters here in New Hampshire, this is a fundamental question for you. You are running in the 2024 race. If you are the Republican nominee and you are in that 2024 race, will you commit tonight to accepting the results of the 2024 election?
Yeah, if I think it's an honest election, absolutely, I would.
So if he loses, it's not an honest election because he's saying he's beating everyone in the polls.
Will you commit to accepting the results of the election regardless of the outcome?
You want me to answer it again? If I think it's an honest election, I would be honored to. And right now, we are so far ahead of both Democrat and Republican. And you know what? If I don't win, this country is going to be in big trouble.
Well,
It's so sad to see what's happening.
CNN is Gonzo in the chat says, and CNN, having been given enough money, is happy to provide that kind of audience.
No, the whole point is that the Republican primaries are going to start soon.
Yeah, they have to give Trump the audience that supports Trump so they can be the ones pushing back against Trump. Like Trump's going to do CNN with a bipartisan audience? He's not going to be comfortable enough. They're going to get more out of Trump with an audience supporting Trump, patting him on the back.
This was a town hall for Republican and undecided voters in New Hampshire. And the New Hampshire primaries will be among some of the earliest primaries. So that's what this is all about. They were doing it on purpose because that's who's going to do the voting first. That's why they're doing it that way. Now, when he debates Biden, if he gets the nomination, there will be a mixed crowd at those events. But we're early into the season, so now we're going to have all these Republican debates. There's going to be like 1 million. Like the first few debates are going to have so many people in them like they do every time. It's going to be ridiculous.
Grab the vagina, Melania.
Accepting the results regardless of the outcome.
If it's an honest election, correct, I will.
Okay, so not committing to accepting the 2024 election results.
It was like...
Or acknowledging what happened in 2020.
Go ahead.
President Trump, I want to thank you for coming here tonight. This is an important conversation with voters to hear and to have. Thank you to our audience and to our host, St. Anselm
He's
College.
like, he gave the audience this bitch.
Yep.
He gave us this bitch.
Anderson Cooper and Jake Tapper.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Katie. Good job.
Seth Licks pointed out that Trump said the 2016 election was rigged before the voting started.
Yes.
Trump said if I lose, it's rigged. Right?
Yeah.
If I lose because it's rigged.
And he won, so he didn't argue with it. It was perfectly legitimate that time.
We love New Hampshire. Thank you. Thank you, Woody. Good luck, Woody.
Good luck, Woody. Was Woody Harrelson in the crowd?
No.
Does it bother you that he keeps talking about 2020 and not 2024? I'll ask you first. This is Jonathan Leslie. He's 40, Republican, voted for Trump twice. How do you feel about those lies?
So I feel like part of it's also the media narrative, as you guys asked him the first question at the town hall about the 2020 election, rather than current stuff.
So don't you think he could say it's time for me to start talking about 2024 and not lies that aren't true?
Couldn't the media ask him a question about 2024?
Well, there were questions, but you're right. That was the first thing, but that's something that was on our mind. And that's why I was asked first. Mike McLaughlin.
I know you said earlier that you will not comment on the platforming of such atrocious disinformation, but I would. I think it was a profoundly irresponsible decision. I don't think that I would be doing my job if I did not say that.
He's the front runner for the Republican candidate for president,
but
they're not going to not put him on.
As a Democrat, it would behoove them if they could just silence their opponents.
Right. I don't think that should happen.
And what we saw tonight was a series of extremely irresponsible decisions that put a sexual abuse victim at risk, that put
she pushed back on all of it.
That person at risk in front of a national audience.
She didn't just sit there and nod her head while he said all that stuff. She pushed back on it within reason. Like, she's not going to railroad him until he's leaving or anything like that.
And I could not have disagreed
And
with
he
it
did
more.
call her a nasty woman. That's how you know she was at least pushing back to a point of uncomfortability.
It was shameful.
Here's Bill O'Reilly and Chris Cuomo.
Now, Ms. Collins was debating him, which is not her job.
God, Bill is so old now.
Town hall. Her job's...
Was she debating or was she fact-checking?
Yeah, I didn't see this as a debate.
She was just simply saying, that's not true.
Yeah.
There's no proof of this.
From him, not to debate him. But unfortunately, Ms. Collins is a young woman with not a lot of experience. I want her to come to the O'Reilly interview summer camp that you're going to come to. I already got your tuition check.
Look at Cuomo.
Cuomo
like, what?
did not send a tuition check, it looks like.
There are different kinds of interviews.
Oh, got him!
You have to be a surgeon.
8 seconds too late, but got him!
In some interviews, and other interviews, a boxing match. You do boom, boom, boom. This wasn't a boxing match. So let me give you a very clear example. Caitlin Collins' question about January 6th, an important question, by the way, went on for about 90 seconds. Her question. That Trump loses interest in the first 10 seconds. He's already got his answer that he said 1,000,000 times. What I would have done, and that I did do in an interview with Trump, would say, did you wait too long before you called off the rioters at the Capitol?
Yeah, that is a good point that he has. Honestly, you need to be very direct with your questions.
Bill is still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah, he's
Look at
over
him,
here
he's
making that
old.
News Nation money.
Yep.
How long did that take? 5 seconds?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of these guys got fired by CNN, and the other one got fired by Fox News, and now they're working together on News Nation, which I think used to be WGN, a big station out of Chicago.
I get it. Look, it's not an easy task. The town hall is not a debate format, but Collins is in like an impossible position. Am I unbiased here? Absolutely not. I know Caitlin. She's smart as hell. She prepares well. This is a hard job because the town hall is not about you. You asked the questions. He filibustered like crazy off the top, put her in a position where he had to counter when it's supposed to be about the people's questions. It's a tough spot. I don't know how easy it would be to handle it any better than she did.
Well, I think Bill O'Reilly did kind of point out an easier way to handle it than she did.
Yeah.
Talk to Trump like he's a fucking 5-year-old.
Exactly.
And you're going to get the best answer out of him.
And he has personally interviewed Trump multiple times. Granted, softball interviewing him.
Yeah. Mr. Trump, do you think maybe you and I can get away with sexually assaulting whoever we want? I don't know. I think after my term as president's over, I think I might be held accountable for sexually assaulting a woman.
Doing a show from his rumpus room on Twitter.
Damn. Got him.
His rumpus room. Rump. I like because it has the word rump. Quick reminder, we're going to do a post show tonight for all patrons, $10 and above on all the Patreon and other platforms that we do that stuff. We're going to be doing the monthly booking committee, and we're going to get everyone's input, everyone that's there, your input on the private show that we're going to do next week and the card for Actual Mania that's coming up here. It's going to be currency in the account coming up at the end of this month. It's going to be insane. Prepare yourselves because This gives someone someone that's just starting out a chance to win the title, and I believe it's been won every time it's been cashed in. So it's a good shakeup, I think. Check out this press conference. I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick, and then we'll do this.
Can we get this goddamn tip train going?
I love
also,
this.
This was a dirty-ass CNN town hall. Good of them to try and be balanced, but they weren't, and they were all in for Trump, it seems. Gonzo.
They were all in for Trump. All those Republicans in New Hampshire. Dirty-ass debate. It wasn't a debate. Dirty-ass town hall. Oh, all right, you little sickos sitting at home. Thank you for getting that tip train rolling. For those of you that don't know, we will be back Saturday. Saturday is a bonus show. So if we hit our goal, we keep coming back every Saturday and keep doing more shows forever, in perpetuity, forever. What is this, ad? Why are we looking at an ad? Because we're going to watch this. You silly little sacrilegious, sanctimonious sarsaparilla sipper. But yeah, I'm not going to start until Ben comes back. I've been drinking 1,000 waters all day long, and I haven't peed once. That's the power of Billy Bladder. If you guys want Billy Bladder, all you got to do is subscribe, like, send Streamlabs. As long as you're spending money on the Drunken Peasants stream, you can't go pee. It's beautiful. Buy yourself a Billy Bladder right now. Do I think Boogie's going to get it? We're going to have to watch this, and I'll tell you whether or not how I think this one's going to end, because I haven't watched this yet. I got that top-tier Melmac bladder, baby. That's the good. I wish a motherfucker would. This is Wings of Redemption. The bald
Great
fellow.
show. Love you, Ben and Billy.
Aw, Logic Blaster, I love you too. Thank you. Boogie's got hair. That's how you can tell the two fats apart. Boogie has hair. Wings of Redemption is bald. Now, this is going to be the prelim fight. It's put on by Happy Punch, and it's going to be free to watch. So you can tune into this one. I don't know. It's Saturday, I think. Is it Saturday or Sunday? I never know anymore. Or is it? I don't know what fucking day it is. It's the 13th, right? It's Saturday, I think. Count to 10. Count backwards from 100. The Great One says, are you playing the full town hall? I heard CNN edited it. I don't know. We found a clip somewheres. Might have been edited. I don't know if we got an edited version or not. It looked like it was full. I can't read. I'm small. Nobody knows. I'll grow one day. So
I saw these guys stand toe to toe today, and I didn't realize the age difference that Wings is like 15 years younger, and he's probably got like 2 to 3 inches on Boogie in height.
Yeah, so Boogie's got the age advantage. He's got 15 more years on this earth. Yeah,
I don't think it works that way.
He's wiser because of it.
Yeah, let's see this press conference.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? A lot of people doubted, because in order for this to happen, these two guys had to fly all the way over to England.
Yeah.
So, and Wings of Redemption has had a history of like flaking out on things that he said he was going to do, but they're both there.
I'll be honest with you. When I went to Vegas in October, I was supposed to go be there with Boogie, and he canceled on me last minute.
Yeah.
So he wasn't doing too good then. He had just realized he had gotten cancer.
Oh, God.
But luckily it wasn't pound me in the ass cancer. And he's been working on this for months and got medically cleared, and he's there.
The moment you've all been waiting for. This is YouTube history. These two next fighters and opponents were some of the first creators on the entire platform. YouTube was founded in 2005, and this man, Boogie2988, started in 2006. His opponent, Wings of Redemption, started in 2008. These guys have been around for over a decade and now are coming out to do something a little different. The entire world said that this fight could never happen.
Keem's in the chat. He just said YouTube history.
YouTube history, right here.
And that's why I set it up. That's why I tried to make it happen. There was so much against both of you going into this. The entire internet said, Wings, you never get on a plane.
You know, this is going to be on, it's going to be Sunday morning here at 9 a.m. our time.
Sunday morning?
9 a.m. Sunday morning.
Nice.
He did get on a plane. He is here.
He is here.
The entire internet said that Boogie wouldn't pass the medicals. He did that, and he is also here. Boogie29, yeah, round of applause.
2017, when I was at VidCon with Boogie, he had to be in a fucking moto cart, wheelchair.
Yeah.
He couldn't get out of it. 2018, he still had the chair. He got out of it every once in a while, but still had to use it.
Yeah.
2019, he didn't have it at all. We went to Disneyland. We walked around everywhere.
Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
Gotta get that right.
Yeah, because of the, like, it'll be Sunday there.
Yeah, don't go around waiting until Sunday, guys. Watch this 9 a.m. for free.
My bad.
For free. The prelims are for free. 9 a.m.
So you'll fight the winner, right?
I gotta get my clout up and my weight down.
You should fight the winner.
This is 800 pounds in one ring. Boogie, why did you decide to do something different with your career and take on a fight like this?
Well, first, I just want to say to Jordy, thank you for taking on this 1v1. I know you're not a big fan of him. Thanks for coming out of retirement to do that.
I mean, you say this, but I've never backed down from a 1v1.
Okay, yeah. All right. But I just wanted to say that, honestly, I kind of needed the money. If I had not done this fight, I might have ended up living in my car. But at least you and I would both have houses with wheels on it, Jordy, so that we had that in common.
Oh,
at least my house is paid for, but
Saturday, 5 p.m. UK time, noon New York time.
All right, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard.
Yeah.
We're going to be watching it at 9 a.m. I'm going to wake up, get a bowl of cereal. That's going to be my Saturday morning cartoons.
I'll be honest with you, man. Keemstar reached out to me not too long ago, and he's like, dude, let me pay you to get fit. Let me pay you to change your life. Let me pay you to get your ass out of your rut of misery that you created for yourself. And I took him up on the opportunity, man. And it's taken 6 years after my bypass surgery to get to this point. It's taken, I cannot tell you how much therapy, how many psychedelics.
I didn't even realize he had a bypass surgery, so he has heart issues too.
Yeah, well, gastric bypass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I knew he had that. I thought he was talking about
No. He got his stomach. I think both of them got their stomachs
both
ripped
did.
out, right?
Yeah, Wings went to Mexico to get his done.
Like I've gone through hell to get to this point. And I will say, here's the thing that Jordy's really got to deal with, okay? He might win by decision, but there's no way he's putting me on my ass. I can promise you that. I've taken worse beatings when I was 8.
I've seen the stairs give you a beating today.
Oh,
you ain't gonna make it to the end of the round.
He saw the stairs giving him a beating.
Like, honestly, as a fat guy, I would be worried about the cardio in this.
This is the most... out of all the influencer boxing matches, this is the one I'm the most excited for so far.
Yeah, like these guys are a spectacle.
Yes.
Like when you watch fights, you want to watch really, really good fighters, right? Or you want to watch a fucking spectacle. Like if you would watch, like if it was dwarves fighting, if it was women with giant boobs fighting, you would want to watch that. You would want to watch that. These are two fats, 400-pounders. Like, if two regular dudes fight, it's probably going to be a Jerry Springer crowd moment. You just want the security guy to break them up. But when two fats fight, You don't know what's going to happen. The momentum of this belly crashing against another belly might be enough to have Boogie pass out and fall right on Wings.
Right. But then,
he might fall on him and pig pile on Wings for the win. You don't know.
I don't think you can pin somebody in boxing.
If Boogie can't get up and Wings can't pull his fat ass off him, Boogie wins.
No, I think that would be like a disqualification.
If Boogie gets knocked out and falls forward instead of backwards,
yes.
It's Boogie's fault.
It wouldn't be a win.
I don't know boxing rules
You
at all.
can't win a boxing match
I don't
that
know
way.
boxing rules, but I know fat guy momentum.
You got the age on me. You got everything else. But I win by being here. Do you understand that? I win by being here. You already lost.
Damn.
This is your last chance. Just like so many other people chose to ride my coattails, you get to ride them one last time, man.
He does cut a good promo.
Yeah.
You know, your career ended because you refused to go on a camping trip, and soon you're going to be living in a fucking tent.
He got kicked off of the PKA podcast because he didn't go on a camping trip.
Yeah, it was supposed to be some kind of like survival camping trip that they were all going to go on, and he just no-showed.
You're gonna take this. I mean, it's a lot of talk from Boogie, but the internet and most people think you have an edge here. How does this change your fight? Are you really gonna take him down round one?
Oh, I'm trying to get him out in 30 seconds. Like, honestly. Like,
You're going to have to because of fat man cardio.
Right.
Like you're going to want to get him out in 36. The longer it takes for you to knock Boogie out, the more winded you're going to get. Like you've been training. You're probably you're taller. You're probably faster. You're probably all these things. But like if Boogie's got that noggin that won't get knocked and he can take enough swings, Boogie might be able to fucking rope-a-dope him just off of taking like 9 or 10 hits. Boogie might have that cranium. We don't know what Boogie's jaw is like. If he can take those hits, all those swings on Boogie, if Boogie can take them and reserve his energy by just getting domed up for like a half a minute, then he might have the advantage because Jordy had to pour all that energy out to try and dome Boogie up.
It'd be better if he didn't just take the hits and tried to like either move or block them.
I'm telling you, as a fat, expending energy is going to be more detrimental to his loss than taking hits.
Swapping makeout match.
Yes.
Only at the DPP Sumer Sham.
Give him a spit swap and makeout match.
Sign up today.
I'm telling you, I would rather take 10 hits than take 10 steps. And I've been hit
What about
a lot.
blocking them?
Well, you can block them, but you got to make sure you're not expending too much energy. Learn how to make him put his energy out. Like the worst thing about this training is I guarantee you Boogie wasn't trained by a fat. He was trained by both these guys were probably trained by fit guys. And fit guys don't know how to fight like fat guys do. I did pro wrestling 20 years ago. I know how to fat around. I should have called Boogie and gave him some fat tips.
He's got no hips. He's got no movement. Like honestly, I've seen a flight of stairs today almost take this man completely
I
out.
wake up in more pain than you're going to put me through. You understand that? I wake up in more pain every single day.
Blunt force trauma, my man.
Yeah.
Boogie, you had mentioned to me in a Twitter space, you said, you're a nice guy, you don't like beefing with people normally, but when it comes to Wings, that's someone you could really slap around and punch him hard in the head. What makes it about Wings that you don't like him, that you're ready to get in the ring and really do some damage?
Man, I'll just be honest with you. I'm done treating him like a person. He's just an obstacle in between where I need to go and what I need to do.
An obstacle, dog? I seen you busting down sweating, getting interviews over there. What are you
Yeah, I'm
talking
good
about
at
an
sweating,
obstacle?
fool. I'm good at sweating, okay? I flew 20 hours. I got off a plane. I came here.
You act like I didn't do
still
the same.
moving.
Boogie needs to be like, I sweat when I eat. Does it look like I have a problem eating?
I was in a wheelchair 6 years ago, Jordy. I
My
was in
man.
a wheelchair. All right? I stood through 2 hours of interviews. That's pretty goddamn good.
Yep.
Oh, my Lord. You were in a wheelchair. You're going to be in a wheelchair Sunday. It doesn't matter. You just.
Oh, yeah. I just.
So this is what confused me because they were saying Sunday. He said you're going to be in a wheelchair Sunday.
My dad died last week, and every night I came back from the hospice facility and needed to escape. I watched The Sweet Boy, so thank you guys.
B-ball,
It gave me
Julian.
something to look forward to
I
after
swear,
a shitty day.
when my
Much
dad
love.
died,
Billy, as a former fat.
Oh, God, they're rolling in now.
Your point, but 30 seconds into the fight and their punch are gonna be weak and movement will be reduced more than normal. A fight in a ring is so different.
That's what I said.
BBW Ben is 2 for 2 on making Sex Twister covers that are better than the original.
Oh.
Y'all see?
Okay, I get it now. So Sunday, the day after the fight.
Yeah, Sunday he's going to be hurt.
He's going to be hurt.
When he wakes up, it's
They're
going to take him
both gonna
24
be
hours to
hurt.
wake up. But when my dad died, everybody told me to take time off from the fucking podcast. All my family was like, dude, don't go to work. Take time off.
I told you you could.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I'm going to go in and just push through too. When my dad died, I fucking came here. I understand that, man. I'm glad we can get you some
If
laughs
my
today.
dad dies, I'm not doing the show. Like,
Oh, come on,
immediately.
Ben.
No, I'm not. If my dog dies, I'm not doing the show for a couple days.
In my wheelchair to make sure that I didn't need it. A lot of people said I should donate it. I know who's going to need it.
The
Come
airports
Sunday,
have that
Jordy.
little wheelie thing that they can push you along. You just got to tip them.
Jordy, you're a joke. You're a joke. A lot of people are tuning into this, to laugh. All right. There's one person to laugh at. There's actually one lolcow here. I'm YouTube.
I don't really want to laugh at them. I just want to see them duke it out. Two big guys who have been completely out of shape for most of their lives do something that you normally have to be in really good shape to do,
Yeah, like if you, I don't know if you watched the documentary that came out between these two. It was on the Drama Alert channel. It showed them training, and when I was watching it, like Jordy, he's got probably the edge. Like from everything I've seen, the height, the speed, the work ethic, the swing, he probably has the edge. But just watching Boogie move for me, like I was feeling something because I remember being with this guy when he couldn't fucking walk. So he's here now, and if he gets knocked the fuck out in 5 seconds, I'm still proud of him.
Sure. I mean, yeah, at least he did it. I have no desire to do this kind of shit, really. So it takes an amount of bravery to do it. And the only time I met Boogie, he was in the hover round.
Could Billy win against either of them? I would beat both of them.
Wow.
I would beat both
Called
of them.
out. You should.
Boogie's my friend, so I would want him to have Wings of Redemption for backup. At once. I'll beat them both at once.
Royalty. You are YouTube, never was. I might be a has-been. You never were, brother.
It's funny because you used to talk about how you were so smart in investing your money, and we sit here today and you're penniless. You're taking a fight against a man that's 15 years younger than you. You have no chance against me.
I'm taking a fight with a man who's 15 years younger
all
because I
you
ain't
do is get
afraid
bad
of you.
advice and
I ain't
accept it.
afraid
You
of
eat it
you.
like milk.
You can't do anything to me. My mom didn't do to me when I was 8.
Wings against the PDF file, Jared, you do it.
Get him.
What did you have to do to prepare for this fight? Because, even though you think it's going to be easy.
I wouldn't do it because I don't want to be anywhere near Jared in person. I have no desire to be near Jared in person.
You haven't been training like it's going to be easy. You've been putting a lot of work and effort in. Can you talk about that?
Well, like there's always a puncher's chance in any kind of boxing match. You could make one mistake and momentum can take over.
Any
and you
given
get the lights
Sunday.
out.
Or
I didn't
Saturday
wanna
at
get
9 a.m.
embarrassed, and I was
Pacific
in terrible
Standard Time.
shape when I took this fight, and only had like 6 weeks to actually get ready for it. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a boxer in any shape or form.
H3 is destroying me. He's been wanting to fight Philly D. Maybe he should fight Keemstar. He don't want. He
Does
don't want that
Keemstar
smoke.
want to get in the ring
Keemstar
too?
said the only person he get in the ring with is H3. That would be
That
fucking
would be
good.
a huge money maker.
That would be good.
Well, I dropped 36 pounds.
The pay-per-view numbers on something like that would be huge.
Yeah.
I basically increased my cardio. I've walked 20.1 miles since I've been here in London. I've been trying to stay on top of everything. I've kicked soda for the most part.
Did he give up the banquet dinners? That was a meme for a while with him because he was always slurping on the banquet dinners.
I've been watching my things, taking multivitamins. I mean, it's helped get my life turned around.
Getting those
because I was
multis
in a
in.
bad spot, heading nowhere.
The pun is intended for this fight. This is redemption. If you walk away with a win, Wings, what do? What's next? What changes in your life?
Oh, shit. I don't really know about that answer.
I'll take it to Boogie. Same question.
Oh, shit.
What changes in my life? No changes. I keep getting better. I keep getting stronger. I keep doing my job. I keep entertaining people.
Do you invest
That's
in
what I keep
cryptocurrency?
doing. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Do you invest more in
I've been on a
cryptocurrency?
path. I've been on a path since I've been on YouTube. In 2006, my first video was me eating French fries. I have lost 200 pounds. I've gotten my mobility back. I've entertained millions of people, 4 million subscribers, and that just number is going to keep going up. I'm going to keep doing everything I
man
can
with Pac-Man
to live the best
And a
life
lot
I
of
can.
people, they see this fight and they think it's a joke. They think it's two fat guys fighting and they want to laugh at it. I'll tell you what this means to me, okay? This is representation. When I was a kid, the only fats on TV were like King Kong Bundy and all the other fat professional wrestlers, Yokozuna. That these two guys, they're heroes for all the little fat kids. That's what I want to see. More fat representation.
King Kong Bundy looked like a giant baby. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Nothing changes. I'm already on that path like a fucking bullet, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, May 13th, the prelims. All 4 of these fights will be streamed for absolutely free over on the Misfit
That's big
Boxing
money right
YouTube
there.
channel, starting at 5 p.m. local time, noon Eastern. I'm excited. Pat God, final thoughts on this.
Dude, some of these fights are legendary. Like, have you guys ever seen a fight like this? I mean, come on, let's hear it.
No,
for that.
I'm excited for it.
History right here.
I dreamed of this moment, and it's finally happening. Boogie, to end this thing out, if you could get up here, do a face-to-face with Wings.
The second person I ever got into an online fight with was Wings of Redemption, and he doxed me in 2009. And now you're working with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Boogie and Keem were not good a couple years ago. They were not good either. Like there was some friction. So like it's cool to see everybody here doing something fun that we're all interested in. There's going to be some swings. I assume both guys are going to get some hits in. I could be wrong.
We'll see. Best case scenario, I love this stare down that they do here.
He ain't going by himself now. Where's Chip? We need Chip.
There was a race to the center. Wings won that.
All right, so what do you think Wings is about?
Wings is like 2 to 3 inches taller than Boogie.
That's it? Okay, I thought he had like 6 inches on him.
Oh, maybe.
Fuck, he might. It looks like Boogie's above the eyebrow, just barely.
Look at the arm lengths too, like shoulder to
Boogie.
knuckles.
Man, the belly to belly.
Yep.
Did you drink my Mountain Dew? Did you drink it?
Is he doing Francis right
Did
here?
you drink my Mountain Dew? Did you drink it? The belly bumping, dude. The gun to gun.
Do not make
Okay.
Did they make a Mountain Dew flavored Prime just for Boogie?
Oh, he's
Damn, dude. This is top tier fatting around. Your mom in the chat says kiss. They can't kiss. Do you see those bellies? They're gonna go in for the kiss and headbutt. It's the fulcrum point. Lip to lip is not gonna work. This fight is going to be on the History Channel in 2055. Yes, it will.
People watch you to laugh. That's who watches you. I have actual fans in this audience right now.
Ooh.
Where the sponsors at?
Huh? I don't need them, Jordy. I don't live in a fucking trailer. I don't live in a fucking trailer. I don't need a sponsor.
Get him out of there, Boogie. We're going to get him out of there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boogie2988 versus Wings of Redemption.
There you go.
So do you want to make a prediction, like round, who will win which round? And
Was it 5 rounds? Were they 2 minutes a round? Or were we going?
You know, I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 3 rounds, 2 minutes a round. I got no prediction. Like, Boogie's my guy.
Right.
I love Boogie. I think Wings has the advantage, but like Wings said himself, You can get that punch in. It doesn't matter, you know.
It's true.
There's the term any given Sunday means on any given Sunday, any football team can lose, right? Like any team can beat the other team. You can't go in here and think it's a automatic Wings of Redemption win, no matter if he has the height advantage, if he is the more youthful fighter, if he has more physical conditioning compared to Boogie.
So,
if he was walking 5 years ago and Boogie wasn't.
So it's 3.5 rounds.
Okay, so I would like to think we see.
There's not a lot of time for them to get gassed out, even for them.
Oh, yeah, at that size, though, if one guy's swinging, he's going to be getting gassed, no matter how big they are. 45 seconds in, adrenaline running. I want it to go to decision. I don't know if that's possible.
It probably will, honestly, unless one of them can throw bombs.
They're both big guys, and I can say this as a big guy. I've sparred. And I've had people, while trying to swing on me, walk into my fist and get knocked on their ass because of how big I am, because of how I don't move. Without me swinging, I've knocked people on their ass just because of how immobile or how immovable I am. Like with Boogie, with Wings, if one of them is going in and the other guy's just got that stance, they could have.
It's going to be a knockout by walking into the other guy's punch.
The power's going to be there at that weight. Like a lot of people don't realize how much more power you have with more weight. It doesn't matter if it's fat weight even. Fat weight adds more power to a punch.
If you know how to throw the punch
correctly. If you know how to throw the punch, if you know how to stand.
If you throw it with just like the strength of your arm.
Obviously, but even if they just happen to have that connector with that weight and they get in the right spot, if there's the reset button, it could happen.
Let's see.
It could happen. And I'm going to say Boogie wins. I don't know how. I can't think of how he wins. I can't even think of a way Boogie wins, but I'm gonna say Boogie wins.
Okay.
I can't believe he wins by decision. I can't believe he wins by knockout. I can't believe he wins by
disqualification.
I can't believe he wins by any of these ways, but even without that belief, I'm gonna say Boogie wins.
All right. And then you challenge Boogie after he wins.
No.
No?
No. I won't fight Boogie.
Would you fight Wings of Redemption?
Twice.
Twice?
Twice. I'd lose the first fight just to fight him again.
What? What?
No. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this one. I'm glad we watched this clip tonight because I think everybody should watch 9 a.m. Saturday. Tune in. If you're on the West Coast, noon. If you're on the East Coast, 5 p.m.
It's just like for free on the YouTube channel, right?
For free, like they said.
Yeah.
It's on the website, Misfits website.
Yes.
The YouTube, Misfits YouTube.
Yes.
It's the prelims. It's free. Watch Boogie and Wings swing. It's gonna be a fucking real fun one. All those matches they have on, like, all the other celebrity boxing, right? There hasn't been one that made as much sense as this.
It does
because
make
these
sense.
guys are both YouTube, like I said, 2006, 2008 YouTube history, gamers, fats, lolcows. They've all been through it. They've all been. This makes sense. Like iDubbbz versus Dr. Mike. We watched it. We wanted to watch it, but it didn't have that icing on the cake that makes the layers of cake stick together.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen, like when you see Aaron Carter box. Who was he boxing? Way mismatched.
now?
He's dead now.
Oh my
But it
God.
was way mismatched, and you wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
But it didn't make sense. This one makes sense, and if we get a YouTube boxing that really makes sense, it's only going to drive the viewers to want it even more. It's cool to watch your favorite creator go out and have fun and box. That's cool. But to see this shit that makes sense, this is celebrity deathmatch. If there was a YouTube celebrity deathmatch, you might pit these two fats against each other. It just makes sense.
Now we just need to see DSP in the ring.
He was like, Keemstar was up on stage. He offered them each $50,000 contracts to have a podcast.
Yeah, I know. And he's doing his usual DSP thing like he did to me years ago.
And he bitched out.
And I don't know if he knows he's full of shit or if it's like pathological where he actually believes the fucked up.
Probably pathological.
Yeah.
There's probably nobody that dumb to think that they can pass up an easy 50,000 on just being dumb. It's probably something with a condition that could be treated.
Well, he's paranoid as fuck, for one thing.
Yeah. Anyways, 800 pounds. What if the ring breaks?
It won't.
I broke a wrestling ring before.
Yeah, those are built a little differently.
Yeah. I broke the ropes.
I noticed when they assemble a wrestling ring too, it's loose. So when a guy like gets thrown into the corner, the ring kind of shifts a little bit to cushion the blow.
Yeah, they can tighten it depending on how they want.
Tightening it would hurt more when you got thrown into the
corner. Some
corner.
matches they tighten it. You want to see LTG versus DSP?
But a boxing ring is put together nice and tight. There's not a spring under the floor too, like there is in a wrestling ring.
No, it's definitely, you don't see guys this big in a boxing ring that often.
Oh, you saw when they would do Pride, because they did Pride in a boxing ring. You'd see really huge, like 7 foot tall, 350, 400 pound guys in those. So
I wonder how long till we get Ethan Ralph versus Boogie now. Like if Boogie loses, I don't think Ethan Ralph is gonna be able to fight on a card because iDubbbz won't have Sam Hyde on because of how Sam Hyde is edgy, right? Ethan Ralph Keem was, when he was promoting Happy Punch, was going to offer Ethan Ralph versus Boogie. He had to pull Ethan Ralph off because Ethan Ralph was too edgy.
Well, he wouldn't stop saying the N-word, I guess. I don't know.
It's like
he wouldn't commit to not saying it up until after the fight.
Yeah,
or something.
And Sam Hyde is signed with Happy Punch, so that's how you know it's far beyond the edge. Ethan Ralph might be too edgy. Ethan Ralph might have been like, "No, I'm going to keep saying it because I don't want to fight Boogie."
But there's so many people that would love to watch him fight that there's money there too, because he's the ultimate heel. So many people hate his guts.
He's interesting. His charisma.
And he's gotten beat up so many times already.
His charisma keeps him in relationships with girls.
It's a weird kind of charisma.
It's a fucking. He keeps him with the fan base. Keeps him going. It's very interesting how he exists on these platforms. Well.
Yeah, so in a few, we're going to go over to Patreon, and we're going to do our monthly booking committee for all of our Patreon stuff that's going to go on.
I'm
and you
still
guys
waiting for Jared to quit being a bitch baby pussy and fight Hannibal in an MMA ring.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that. He can't even, take criticism on Twitter. He blocked me instantly on Twitter yesterday.
Zap says, "Don't miss my super chat." What'd you say, Zap?
If you go to Jared's Twitter, it's all him just hitting on random girls. Hey, baby, how's it going? Man, I love your ass. Like that kind of shit.
That's like my Twitter, too, though.
Not
Zap
really.
Rosedower says, "Billy, the immovable fridge." I mean, it's true.
The irresistible force meets the immovable object.
It's true.
Please join us. Have your say on what we're going to be doing on Patreon later this month. It's any patron $10 and up is going to get to watch and be part of it, and then everyone $25 and up can actually jump into the voice chat and help book everything. So we're going to go there. We appreciate you guys being here. We appreciate you getting us to 36%. Coming up here on Saturday for the bonus show. We will see all of you then. In the meantime, please send us your content in the Discord. Join the Discord and send us your content there. Good night.
Good
everyone.
night.